Testing. What's up, everybody? Peace and respect to you all. Thank you for your patience. My goal was to go live earlier today, but I had some technical problems with my software. I had to update some things on the software and also reboot the computer, and it took a lot of time. When you're dealing with technology, it has a mind of its own. But I tried, and it's a trip because I tried to do this exact video a week ago and had some technical problems that cut my stream off. And so I vowed that I was going to continue to forge through and do this particular video, as I believe this video is necessary. What I'm going to do tonight is this is a comparison and contrast of the fact that when you are asking people for your vote, whether it be Donald Trump, whether it be a Kamala Harris, when you look at Trump, he wants the black vote, even though he does everything to says a lot of goofy stuff. And of course, Kamala Harris is going to need the black vote as well. But, everybody's in their corners of who they support and how they look at these various individuals. But the area that we need to be looking at the most importantly is, where is the policy for both Trump or Kamala Harris as it relates to what black people get out of this whole situation? What's the policy? Are either one of these candidates talking about reparations? Or either one of these candidates talking about infusing economic stability into the black community? When we look at the economics, black people, out of all the groups in this country, and we've been here for such a long time, when you look at our households, our income ratio, we are not, black people don't have a lot of money. You have some black millionaires out there. You have some black people who have certain level of wealth, but black people, we don't have generational wealth, and that economics has hurt us. So where's the policy on that? I want to know, where is the anti-hate bill for black people? Because we know that the Democrats were able to pass I'm going to say these policies by their name. We know that they were able to pass an anti-hate bill for Asians, which is called S.937. S.937 is the bill that was passed for them. It's the Asian hate bill. And I want to know, what are we going to get what are we going to get? Where is our hate bill, anti-hate bill? What are black people getting for our vote when we are the most religiously loyal, should I say, to the Democratic Party? We give them our vote, stock, lock, and barrel. Kamala Harris and both Kamala Harris and Joe Biden Kamala Harris and Joe Biden got the lion's share of the black vote when he first got into office. It was 93% black women, okay? And it was 83% black men. Let me put this in perspective. Let's put it in perspective real quick. Again, on this thumbnail you see right here, black women were the lion's share of would put Joe Biden and Kamala Harris over the top, because it was black women that said Joe Biden, put her on the ticket. And then black men came in at 83%. So as much as everybody was ragging on black men and criticizing black men and saying that, oh, black men are voting for Trump, I think Trump only got about 8 or 12% of the black male vote. Still, black men overall overwhelmingly voted for the Biden and Kamala Harris ticket. And during that time, the question is, what is the black agenda? Ice Cube, who everybody made fun of, said that he was going to shop his black agenda to both the Republicans and the Democratic Party. People kept saying, oh, he's a Trumper. He's never even met Trump in real life, y'all. He never met with Trump. You had Trump officials that were saying that they wanted to meet with him, but that never came to fruition. And then when he shopped it over to the Democratic Party, they kept saying, Like they always say, you got to wait until we get elected. And then when they got elected, they didn't connect with Ice Cube and do anything to entertain his contract with Black America. And then you had Black celebrities like the Vivica Foxes of the world on Fox Soul criticizing him, saying, well, what about Black women? And the man said, it's a contract for Black America. That word in itself includes Black women. By definition, it's Black people. And so that didn't all work out. And I'm going to say again, if you listen to anybody on social media, on mainstream media, any celebrity, any influential person telling you to stop asking Kamala Harris or asking the question about what do we get from Trump, never listen to that person again. Get away from them, because politicians work for us. We don't work for them. And we have every right to ask them what they're going to do for us. And that's just the facts.
Tell the truth.
That's just the truth. Tonight, I'm loaded with a lot of material for you to take food for thought on. Okay? So I'm going to be playing videos tonight from people. I'm going to be bringing up receipts on both Donald Trump's past, his little nasty past, as well as some of the things that's questionable about Kamala Harris. I'm not here tonight to tell anybody not to vote if they choose to vote. There's some people who say, hey, I'm just going to vote down ballot. It's not my job. It's your job. See, I'm not one of these content creators that wants to say, oh, don't do this. No, I'm going to say these are the issues. These are the receipts. Now you do what you want with those receipts to make the decision that you think is best for you, your family, and your community. But you need to know that the vote, the Black vote, should not be taken for granted. And we should get something for our vote, or what the hell are we voting for? And both Donald Trump, I'm going to keep it real, both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have never given us a Black agenda. This is the same Kamala Harris that told us some years ago that she wasn't going to do something just for Black people. I got the receipts on that. This is the same Donald Trump who says things like, my African American. And by the way, the guy that he said that to those years ago, that's my African American. That guy has since left the Republican Party. And he has said today, there was an article that came out in which this brother said that he was embarrassed by what Donald Trump said. He doesn't like it. And Donald Trump and what he said has turned him off, because Black people are not possessions. We're not possessions or people for you to be possessing us as if you own us. I've got receipts. Donald Trump, as I said in the other video before things went crashing down on my software here, that Donald Trump was very much a Democrat, had voted mostly Democrat most of his life, and supported Democrats. I've got the visual proof and receipts of that right now. I also told you that at one point in time, as many Black people say, well, Kamala Harris was a terrible attorney general of California. She did a lot of things as the DA of San Francisco, things that hurt Black men. These are things that we've been told. These are things that we've read about in articles. But we forget that Donald Trump gave her, along with his daughter Ivanka, gave Kamala Harris money. And I got the receipts on that. Got a copy of the check. Gave her about $5,000. What am I saying is that in politics, there's no permanent friends. There's no permanent interests. In politics, let me correct that. In politics, as Joe Madison said, there's no permanent enemies. There's no permanent friends. There's just permanent interests. That's what I wanted to say. Let's get that right. So Donald Trump's been a transactional person all of his life. Anytime you see him on pictures with anybody, it's because he's trying to get something out of the situation. They're trying to get something out of the situation too. So as much as Kamala Harris is campaigning against Trump, she had no problem, I believe, taking the check from him back when she was the Attorney General of California. And he liked what she was doing because he gave her money to be reelected as Attorney General. So for those of you out there that are Trumpers or Trump supporters, What I'm saying to you is that the eagle bird is of the same wing. You have a left wing, you have a right wing, and they're both the same damn wing. They have various ways that they go about screwing over you. And the question once again, because whether Donald Trump wins this election, whether Kamala Harris wins this election or not, they're going to be all right. They've got money. They're going to have guaranteed health care. They're going to get a nice pension that you're paying for with your tax dollars. Trump's going to be just fine. His family is going to be fine, but will your family be fine? Will you be fine? Kamala Harris is going to be. That's why I'm not getting caught up in the whole Kamala Harris honeymoon, because whether she wins the election, Kamala Harris is going to be just fine. Her family's going to be fine. Her husband, the kids, his kids that she's raised or that she has helped take care of, they're going to be fine. They're going to still live in nice houses. They're not going to have to worry about money and paying their medical bills. We are. Donald Trump's not going to have to worry about paying for his bills. We're going to be the one. This is why I'm probably one of the few creators on YouTube who's not caught up in taking a stand on either side saying, oh, I'm with Trump. I'm probably one of the few people that's not willing to put Trump's dick in my mouth.
Tell the truth.
And I'm certainly not putting the Democrats in my mouth either. You vote, and let me just say this, one of the most important things is your local vote. All government, all politics is local. Your local elections are even more important because you're impacted by what happens locally. So as we get caught up in these candidates, keep in mind that these people are going to be just fine no matter what happens, okay? Let me get into the show. I really appreciate everybody. If you're coming in, don't go nowhere. Get your drink, get your food, whatever. Sit back, kick back, relax. Do me a favor for the folks that are in the chat room right now that have come over. We got my man we got Frazier, GA is in the house. Skinny Boy, 20 Boy. What's going on, Skinny Boy? We got Peggy Roster. For those of you that are coming in, hit the share button and share this in your Facebook, your Twitter, your X right now, if you could, everybody that's watching in the clouds. I really appreciate that. We're going to go over some things because, once again, what do black people get? What's the policy? Right? When black people are talking to Kamala Harris, we should be talking to her about what is her agenda and her policies for black people. We shouldn't be talking about her buttermilk biscuit recipe or talking about her collard greens recipe. That's a waste of time. But let's get into this. I want to bring this up. We got a lot of people that's raccooning it up as well. And let's go over to D.L. Hughley. Now, D.L. had some things to say about Kamala Harris in the past that I guess he has now taken back. He went on his podcast, his radio show, and said, oh, I was wrong about this and wrong about that. And, of course, D.L. Hughley and a whole cast of celebrities who think they are our leaders, okay? D.L., Smiley, Ricky Smiley, all these comedian goofy dudes, you know what I'm saying? These step and fetch it types, the guys that, you know, they make a living, they make a lot of money making people laugh, doing the step and fetching type stuff. So all these guys are telling us what we should do, how we should vote, and what have you. And then you have, and I've done videos on Luke Campbell, on the other channel, the Info Media Reacts channel. Make sure you go over there and subscribe when you get a chance to the Info Media Reacts channel. You'll see it on this page. When you scroll down, you'll see the logo. Subscribe to that channel. I've already roasted and cooked up Luke Campbell, this whole issue where he gets on Twitter Spaces and he gets into it about the FBA and the ADOS situation. And he's telling black folks and black men, come on back to the Democratic Party and what have you. This is the thing. Black people are not a monolithic people. We can think for ourselves. We have different backgrounds, different economics, different experiences. Some of us don't all think alike, man. We can do what we want to do. We have black conservatives, black liberals, the whole nine yard. And people have the right to do what they want to do. but we also should be fueled with information that helps us to make good decisions based on information. So let me play here as I go into the studio, a reaction studio, and there was another individual telling black people that we should not ask Kamala Harris what she's going to do for black people. Politicians have to adhere to us if they want our vote. We need to know policy. We need to know directly what you do for us. If these billionaires and millionaires gives Kamala Harris money, right? Or if Trump gets money from the billionaires, the millionaires, guess what? They do something for those people because both these individuals, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, they both will take the calls of these billionaires before they'll take your call. They both will answer the phone to the billionaires that give them donations. They will do for those who can cut a fat check. Why do you think that Eli Musk or whatever the hell his name is, why the hell you think he's in bed with Trump right now? Because he knows that if Trump gets in the White House, then he knows that Trump going to give him some money. He knows he can get something out of Trump's presidency that can benefit his X-Space thing that he's got going or whatever else he's got going. Like I said, politics is about permanent interest. It's not about your hate. It's not about your enemies or your friends. It's only about permanent interest. And we know that if Trump, as you see him in the courtroom right here, we know if Trump gets in office, he's going to use his executive powers to get rid of all the legal cases that are legitimately, I don't care what anybody thinks, every case that's been against Trump is a legitimate case. And if you ever ask yourself, this man has the only presidency in history. Well, there's been other criminals within other presidencies, of course. But if you notice, everybody that was associated with Trump that was in his administration, a lot of them are either going to jail, got charges against them. I mean, what was he running? And this is another thing. If Trump wasn't doing anything, he wouldn't have all these charges against him. He wouldn't. Now, I know people talk about Kamala Harris and her past. Did she get down with Willie Brown? Did she sleep her way to the top? There's all kind of talk about that. But yet we forget that Donald Trump sleeps around. He likes to grab him in the kitty cat. Remember? He says he grabs him in the kitty cat. Donald Trump has a history of messing around with sleazy women, prostitutes, and such that he pays off. So what? So here's a man. So if a woman is sleeping her way to the top, as some people want to say this, well, Donald Trump has been choosing to sleep around with sleazy women, even though he's a married man. So let's just keep that in mind. You got people always say you vote for the worst of the two evils. What are you talking about? You got both evils all up in this situation.
Tell the truth.
It doesn't matter if you vote for the lesser of evil, you still get evil.
Tell the truth.
So let's go to this guy right here. This is Plies. I think he's a rapper or something. Why do we have these entertainers telling us, running off at the mouth and telling us things that we don't need them to tell us about? And let's hear the first one right now, folks, as you're really gonna get a lot out of this tonight. Check out what Plies had to say.
Real quick. But to everybody who, especially the ones who look like me, and the men who look like me, who quit the, if Kamala want my vote, she need to explain herself to me what she gonna do for the black people. Listen, stop asking a motherfucking black woman to explain herself to you.
This is where Plies, now I played this on my other channel the other night. This is where Plies is an idiot. Why are you telling black people not to ask Kamala Harris what she's going to do for us and then turn around and say we don't ask white politicians? No, that's bull. When I said this on my other channel, when Joe Biden was running for president, there was a lot of black people asking, particularly black men, what do we get out of it? What is the black agenda? We had been asking for the black agenda, and they tried to act like they were going to give us a black agenda, but then we found out that their agenda is so focused on what? Illegals. And now you've got illegals that are flooded in Chicago, illegals that flooded into New York. They're getting paid. They're getting money to live in hotels, money to live, to buy, to move into apartments and so on and so forth. They are impacting the social services that should be set up for the citizens that live here, that pay freaking taxes. The Democratic Party is so in love with this immigrant situation instead of dealing with their constituents, particularly black people who have been loyal. None of these migrants, these illegals, can even vote because they're not a citizen, and they haven't voted to put any of these politicians in office that are fighting for them and not fighting for us. And I'm going to show you why Plies is a piece of crap. Go ahead now, Plies, with that lie. Let's hear his lies again.
Or explain themselves to y'all. If y'all ain't willing to ask a motherfucking white man, they motherfucking explain himself. Y'all cool with the white man not explaining his motherfucking self to you. Oh, the motherfucking black, she need to explain herself to me what she gonna do for the black community. She want my vote, she need to explain.
Damn right. This is the fool that you're listening to. Damn right. Now, in contrast to what Plies said, let's hear from Ice Cube, who made a lot of damn sense in comparison to this buck dancer right here. Check this out.
Process. You don't vote just to vote. You vote because you're getting something or your community is getting something. So everybody that's telling you that, man, look at them and say, what are you getting? Because people that just want you to vote and not ask for nothing, people that's in power that want you to vote but don't want you to get anything or not asking for you to get anything economically, they suspect.
Right.
Straight up. Because a lot of people been in place for a long time and we ain't got shit. That shit gonna end.
Is Ice Cube telling the truth or is he not telling the truth, y'all? Put sevens in the chat room.
That shit gonna end. We gonna get what we supposed to get. Period. And anybody asking you not to ask, I wouldn't listen to them.
Thank you. Put sevens in the chat room.
Because that's the process. Every community asks for what they want.
Is Ice Cube correct?
And we're gonna do the same.
Is Ice Cube correct? Every community, when they go to the Jewish community, they tell the Jewish community what they're going to do for them. Don't they have that APAC every year? What's that APAC about that they always have? That's because they're going to the Jewish community to tell the Jewish community what they're going to do for them. Asian community, like every community, they're telling them what they're going to do. When black people ask for what they're going to do for us, they tell us, be patient, let us get elected. We got to have a study, shit like that. It's about people of color. It's about marginalized people. I'm not a person of color. We're black. I'm a black man. I'm not a person of color. They put everybody in this bag with us and do nothing for us.
Not to ask, I wouldn't listen to them.
Right.
Because that's the process. Every community asks for what they want. And we're going to do the same goddamn thing.
Facts. Facts. Ice Cube, facts. Now, I played the contrast between Plies and remember, Ice Cube was the one that had the contract, with America, and both these political parties just sort of turned their back on him. Because even though people said, well, the Republican Party said that they were going to meet with him, they never met with him. They never asked. They never met with him after the fact, even though they did not get in office because Biden won the election. Ask yourself this too, everybody. What policies, I know there's some people that's going to say, I'm voting for Trump. What policies have the Republicans and the Democrats, what policies have they passed that has been a policy, not for everybody, a policy that's tailored to black Americans specific? The Republicans don't have a policy. They can't tell you one policy that they've passed that was specifically for black people right now. Both these parties have been shitting on us. The Democratic Party, even though you can say, well, Obama, he passed the health care bill. It wasn't a health care bill, folks. It was a health care insurance policy. It was basically a deal to make sure that the insurance companies could not use pre-existing conditions against you and turn you down for health care, because to get health care, you got to go through the health policies. So what Obama did was not technically health care. It was really a deal that he cut with the insurance companies. It's more of an insurance health policy. And the insurance companies had no problem with this policy because they said, well, damn, if you're going to make a policy where everybody's got to get on this policy, then we're going to make a lot of money, because we're going to have every child, every dog, cat in the house, every person in that house. We're going to have everybody, because it's going to call for everybody to be mandated to get the health care or to get the policy. It's a policy. A health insurance policy is really what you got, folks. It's been disguised in the name of Affordable Care Act, or some call it Obamacare. It's really insurance care, if you really break that bill down. Okay. Now, I want to go into this, and this is going to come along with what I'm talking about tonight. I live in California. I'm sure you all heard about the situation with the reparations bill in California. I'm really upset that I have to bring this up here. It's a shame that I have to bring this up, but the bill was killed, and it was killed by who? It was killed by the California Black Caucus. It was black people who destroyed it, and Gavin Newsom, governor of California, he played games with it. He told them, oh, we got to change some few things. There's some things I have concern about, this and that. And we sat up there and I watched it. It was live. And all night, they were at the state capitol in Sacramento of California, the capital of California. They were there into midnight, into 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. And there were bills being passed, one after another, no problem. And the bills that they were supposed to bring to the table, and I want to read these bills to you. We're talking about Bill SB 1331, SB 1403, and then 1050. There were 3 bills that were never brought to the House floor. They died on the House floor, and they never were brought up for vote. They killed the own bills that were worked on all this time. And it was black folks, the Congressional Raccoon Caucus of California, no different. Let's keep it real. No different than the Raccoon Caucus in Washington, D.C. Wait until I show you exactly how this whole thing went down, y'all. You're going to see why this is important, because this was the Democrats that did this. And you had folks from the organization called CJAC, which has been very much involved in this movement. And my brother Chris, who's the president of CJAC, he's involved in CJAC. I think he's the president of the organization. He's been on my YouTube channel. We've talked. I've been around him in the past. We had a reparations rally long time ago in Sacramento, and I've been around him. And he came out and said they're killing their own bills. They killed the own. You have your buck dancing California Black Caucus to be held responsible for what happened. This is a Democrat-run state. A Democrat-run state. People worked on these bills. You already had a reparations commission in California to look at the study and how to go about giving out reparations and what have you, only for Gavin Newsom to sit up here and say he wants to put, what was it, $6 million or $5 million towards a study That's the only thing that got passed was this idea of another study when they already have done a damn study and have had committees. I'm going to tell you why this is important to what I'm talking about. This is about politics. The Republicans, they don't want to give us no reparations. The Republicans ain't even talking about reparations. And the Democrats are playing BS with us. They've been playing BS with the reparations bill in Washington, D.C. They've been playing all these games. Let me let you see something. This man right here, before I go forward with the presentation today, this won't take long. This man right here, I have a lot of respect for. He's a member of the California Black Caucus. He's the only one the other night who was pushing for this to be passed, who was pushing for it. All the other black folks, these black folks right here they are. Here go their pictures. Shirley Weber, who was one of the ones who came out and said she was for reparations. Thomas Thurman, Tina, Michael Gibson, Lola Smallwood, Reggie Jones. We're going to remember these black folks in California. They go Stephen Bradford. He was down with it. We're not going to go after him. Isaac, Sister D. Wilson, all of these black folks. I even saw, if you look to the lower left side down, this sister right here with the light blue suit on, I watched her at her desk and she was rocking the whole LGBTQ flags and all of that, rocking all of that stuff, but you could not bring the bills to the floor to be voted on. They killed their own damn bills. That was about the reparations movement. These are the individuals that we're going to have to hold accountable for this nonsense in California. Check this out, y'all. You'll see why this has a ramification on Kamala Harris. It's going to have a ramification on her because this is the Democratic Party disrespecting black voters of California that were down for this. And also black people don't have any power in California. Our numbers are dwindling as illegals are coming in. Other groups are coming into areas that we've lived in, pushing us out. The rents are too damn high in California. This is going to have a ramification because I believe that they never wanted Gavin Newsom to have to deal with signing these bills. They didn't want him to be in a position of signing these bills because they probably knew that it was going to be voted and pass on the House floor, but they didn't want to give it. They didn't know whether Gavin Newsom was going to veto the bill or not. But I think this is all politics. This is the Democrats playing politics because their primary focus on trying to get this woman into the White House, and they don't want anything that sort of turns the apple cart towards black people, towards us being the focus. Because they want the focus to be on her, and and what the Democrats have done in California is they've played black people for twos and fools. Let me play this for you. Let me play this for you right now, damn it.
And this place is buzzing with anticipation to try to figure out what is the status of their bill. And we are officially less than an hour away until we find out what the results are going to be of all the bills that they haven't voted on. If it is passed, it is going to results are going to be of all the bills that they haven't voted on. If it is passed, it is going to go to the governors.
Like I said, they didn't vote on any of the reparations bills. There was about 3 of them. They didn't vote on them. They let the bills die without a vote.
Newsom's office to see if he will sign or not, but if it doesn't, it is going to die on the House floor. So we're trying to figure that out. But the biggest buzz in this building were bills that weren't voted on, like funding reparations. The final hours of the California legislative session kicking into overdrive as lawmakers try to get their bills approved. On Sunday, lawmakers passed landmark bills to make amends for racism. The proposal they approved allows for the return of land or compensation to families whose property was unfairly taken by the government. and in a formal apology for laws and practices that harmed black people. But the buzz surrounding the reparation bills package was over what wasn't addressed: direct payments.
We laid the foundation that those bills are critically important to, stand up what reparations would be here in the state of California.
State Senator Stephen Bradford authored SB 1403, aims to establish the California American.
That brother's a real one. He's the only one that was a man the other night that was actually waiting for those bills to be brought up. And the rest of the black caucus, they were cowards. Black people, we have no black leadership in California. And I can make an argument that we have no real black leadership across this country, because we know that the Congressional Black Caucus in Washington, D.C., they haven't done anything for us lately. They're living on what they've done in the past, but what have they done for us lately in the damn 21st century? And black people in California, what I noticed in California in all my years living here is that if you're gay, if you're LGBTQ, if you're any other group, you get something. If you're black, you're told to stay back. If you're black, you're told be patient. If you're black, you're told we got to get elected. If you're black, you're told we got to give you a study first. If you're black, you're told we'll have to come up with some type of bill that we can pass to help you. And then when they work on a bill in California, for example, they don't even put the bill on the floor to be voted on to at least give us a damn chance. But they put I watched this whole session, they put everybody's bill on the floor, but did not put the reparations bill on the floor. And the people that's supposed to push it is the California Black Caucus. They did nothing. They are what do you call it? They are lapdogs. They are butter biscuits. They are raccoons. And I hope every black person in California recognizes who they are, because they should be voted out of office. And I wish I see these people so I could call them out.
Freedmen Affairs Agency, while SB 1331 funds reparations.
This is the Democrats in California that did this, and they're telling us that we need to vote for Kamala Harris. They're telling us as black people, we got to vote. Black men, you got to get up there and vote. Don't let Trump get in. I don't like Trump. I don't like the political games that the Democrats continue to play on black people. They tell us they want us to vote for them. They urge us to vote Democratic, but then the Democrats turn their backs on us every damn time.
Both were not voted on.
We should have gotten it to the governor's desk. He never signaled he would veto the bill. He just said he had some concerns.
Now, what were those concerns? You heard Brother Bradford saying that they were supposed to get it to the governor's office, to his desk, so that he could either sign or veto it. What did they do? They bullshitted around. They didn't even get it to the man's. They continue.
As they have with many bills. But that doesn't mean you don't move forward with the bills, because, you can fix them.
The California Legislative Black Caucus.
What he's saying is you can always make adjustments to the bill. If the governor doesn't like something, you can always make adjustments, but you at least need the bill to be voted on so it can move through the process.
Just pulled the bill because it said the proposal needs more work.
The bills that pass are not reparations.
That's my brother, Chris of CJAC. I've had him on this channel a few times. I've talked to him in person. The brother's real deep, and I got a lot of respect for him because he's doing a lot of the groundwork here in California around this issue. You have a lot of people on social media that talk the reparations game, but this man is actually putting in the footwork. And let's continue to hear what he's saying.
The California Legislative Black Caucus pulled the bill because it said the proposal needs more work.
The bills that pass are not reparations. An apology is not reparations.
Chris Lodgeson, a reparation activist with Coalition for Just and Equitable California.
The only bills today that even had a chance of being core reparations or could even get us to reparations are the bills that did not pass. It's one thing if we go up for a vote and we lose. Oh, right.
Right.
It's one thing if we go up for a vote, we win, and it gets to the governor's desk, and the governor vetoes it.
Supporters of the reparations say they're not giving up despite the setback.
It has to happen if we're going to have meaningful reparations to the people who deserve it. We're 160 years overdue for this.
And just a few hours ago, there was a glimmer of hope that those...
Ladies and gentlemen, let me just put something up. I want y'all to see something right here. The draft amendment obtained by Politico Saturday but dated Monday proposed sending $6 million to California state universities to study how to implement the recommendations from the state task force. This is ridiculous. We don't need money going to a university to know what the hell happened when people gave testimony the last 2 years, damn near 3, from the state task force on reparations, including how to confirm the status of person seeking reparations. The draft change removes the bill core purpose, creating a new Freedom Affairs agency, which they're not going. This is not going to happen. Democrat State Senator Stephen Bradford, who you saw talking on there, he's the only one that's a real one on this issue, and other advocates backing the state's multi-year efforts to repair harm from institutions. Racism, says Newsom adds push to dramatically narrow a proposal for a new state reparations agency. So they're talking about a reparations agency to study it. They're not talking about an agency that's going to prepare to go about giving it. This is what the task force was supposed to do. This is more stalling. The change means that the state will install simple authorizations for further study of the issue. That's the only thing that passed, is that Newsom wants to give money to a state university so that they can do further study on the issue of rep. This is crazy. We don't need any more damn studies. This is stalling techniques from your Democrats. This is the Democratic Party that's doing this. This is not the Republicans that do it. California is dominated and run by Democrats. This is the Democrats that did this, slapping us in the face. And this will have implications in this election with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. This will have, because black people in California, we don't have short memories. Now, let me let you hear what my man Chris of CJAC had to say, the brother that I've been talking about, and you're going to see where this is relevant. This segment of the show is relevant to the title of the show. What do black people get from both Kamala Harris, who's a Democrat, or Donald Trump, who's part of the Republican Party now? Or it's his damn party. It's the Trump party, really. What do we get? What is the policies? This is everything that they did in the state assembly in Sacramento, I think had a lot to do with them trying to put all the focus on voting, everybody focus on Kamala Harris. I think Gavin Newsom, the governor, he didn't want to be in a position to have to veto the reparations bill, because politically that would look bad on him towards black people, because he threw black people a bone by saying, yeah, let's have this task force and we're going to do reparations, and everybody got excited about that. I think they never wanted those bills to have a chance to pass on the House floor, so that it would never get to him to put Gavin Newsom in a situation to have to veto it. Even though they're saying, we don't know what he could have done. He could have passed it, but there's some fishy business going on here. Let me let y'all hear the brother.
The speaker need to bring the bills up now. These are their bills. They have their names on the bills. They killing their own bills.
Do you hear what he's saying? These are the California Black Congressional Caucus. This is their bills, and they killed their own bills. They did nothing to promote the bill. Bradford was the only one there that night that was talking up about for it. All these other do-nothing Negroes did nothing. We got migrants coming over here, illegals coming over here, getting free housing, getting hotel stays, luxury stays. When we got black people homeless in Los Angeles, California, black men homeless in New York. New York makes up 53% of the homeless population in a state like New York is made up of black males. Homelessness in California, the majority of it is made up of black males, is black people as well, particularly in the Los Angeles area. They put these bills out and they killed them. Let's read them again. We're talking about SB 1331, 1403, and 1050. They killed their own bills. I'm going to repeat this again. SB 1331, 1403, 1050. I want y'all to, I'm saying this because I want y'all to look these things up. My man Chris is saying that they killed their own bills. The California Black Caucus, they're spineless. They should be ran out of town. Any black person that recognizes them in town or sees them anywhere, you should call them out on spot. And we should be telling them, I'm getting your ass out of office. Damn it. I'm at a point when it comes to politics that it doesn't matter. I'm at this point, y'all. When it comes to politics, that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the race. It matters the political, it matters the, what do you call it? You vote for people who have your interests. You got black people who you would think would have your interests just because they're black. But you have a lot of kin folks that ain't your skin folks, and skin folks that they don't even act like they're your kin folk. Just because a person has black skin doesn't mean they have a black mindset and a black agenda for you. When we look at politics, let's not get caught up in people's race. The reason why I'm saying this is because this is what the Democrats are doing with Kamala Harris. They want us, people keep telling us, oh, you got to vote for Kamala Harris because she a black woman. I don't give a damn about whether she black or she biracial, any of that. I want to know what you're doing for us, because we got plenty of black leadership or misleadership in the state of California who didn't even put up and fight for the very bills that they were involved in creating. They let the bills die and never allowed those bills to be voted on. So down with this whole thing about Kamala Harris is black. That's why we should support her, because she black and she a woman. To hell with that. If you're going to vote for somebody, you vote for them because they've got policies. They got your community at interest. Just like Ice Cube said. Now I want y'all to hear this. I'll let it play.
The speaker need to bring the bills up now. These are their bills. They have their names on the bills. They killing their own bills because they scared of the government. Now, listen, they gonna see this and they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills, then they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills because they scared of the government. Okay?
He's saying that they're killing the bills because they're scared of Governor Newsom. Why the hell is the California Black Caucus scared of Governor Newsom? What's going on here? What type of deals have been cut in the background? This is why I kept telling everybody, when it doesn't matter if it's the Republicans or the Democrats. Republicans play these games too, because they've got no reparations bill for us. Republicans have not passed any form of policy from the time they've been in control. Don't give me this talk about Abraham Lincoln 100 years ago. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about in the 21st century. The Republicans haven't passed any legislation or policies that has benefited black people. The Democrats haven't passed anything currently within this administration and currently that black people are benefiting from. Don't tell me about Obama's health care. That's a damn insurance. We know about the Obama thing. Even though we know Obama, more black people lost home ownership and lack of ability to get homes under Obama's administration when he was in office. Tell me I'm not lying.
Tell the truth.
Don't tell me about the past. Tell me currently what's happening. I'm talking about currently.
We don't care.
We need to send
Bring
a message
the goddamn bills up
to the
now. Now.
The governor needs to understand that the world is watching California, and this is going to have a direct impact on your friend, Kamala Harris, who's running for president.
Boom! Did you hear what she said? It's going to have a direct impact on your friend, Kamala Harris, who's running for president. You see what she's saying? This situation in California is going to have an indirect impact or a direct impact on the current election. The Democrats, once again, show you that they have no respect. They slap black people in the face. And what's even sad is that it's our own people who look like us who are in seats because we put them in them seats. And they have betrayed us. They have betrayed black people in California. They could pass a bill for immigrants, illegals. They could pass every goddamn thing to help every damn body else but us. I want y'all to hear what Brother Tyrese was saying. Remember I told you that about the S-93-7 Asian hate bill? Brother Tyrese is on that same page. He's like, wait a minute now. What about, check this out. Check out what Brother Tyrese had to say. Now check him out. Talking to guess who he's talking to? He's talking to Crump, the attorney Crump. Check this out.
President Biden and Kamala Harris signed an Asian hate crime bill, which makes it beyond illegal to ever purposely and maliciously do anything to anybody in the Asian community. And there was a spike in crimes and criminal behavior in and around COVID, allegedly and specifically motivated by Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody started treating Asians, beating them, killing them, shooting them, stabbing them, hurting them. And then he gets into the White House, skips over everybody.
Now check this out. Tyrese Gibson is telling the truth. Trump was actually fueling all this stuff because remember you had the COVID, and he said that it was coming from China, and he was blaming the Chinese. So everybody started. Some people I think were attacking Asian people because they thought they because of the the COVID and what have you. There were some Asian people that were being attacked. I'm not going to deny that, but Trump once again, who's not worth a bag of fries, in my opinion, either. He was a contributor to this nonsense. But let's hear what Gibson is saying here.
And so everybody started treating Asians, beating them, killing them, shooting them, stabbing them, hurting them. And then he gets into the White House, skips over every black and brown Mexican.
Talking about Biden. Now, I don't know why he's talking about brown or Mexican. I don't know why Tyrese Gibson is talking all that type of talk, because last time I checked, black people, black men in particular and women, we've been the main ones catching hell. Every time you hear about police and things that's happening to us, black people still, if you look at the statistics, black people still are the leading group of people who have more hate crime brought towards us. And we are impacted by hate crime more than any other group in this country. Yet we don't have an S-937 bill. The Asian community does, but we don't have one. And what he's saying is you got Joe Biden who gets in office and he skips right past the things that have been happening to black people. Let's hear this.
And Latino that have been getting killed like flies.
No. Black people are the ones who've been getting killed like flies, man. And even in Los Angeles, where you are, Tyrese, you've got these Latino gangs that have been taking the lives of black people in L.A., brother. So what are you talking about here?
He makes it a law. Asian hate crime bill is signed into law. So whether you're a police officer or a regular civilian, if you wake up on a Wednesday and say, he's Asian, a woman or a man, let's go do something bad to them, which God forbid would ever happen again. but it is a crime bill that was signed into law that protects Asians at all costs. Where is that same fucking law to be signed into law when it comes to black and brown people?
No, when it comes to black people, Tyrese, we're the ones that are the biggest victims of this shit. He's talking about Biden. Now, we know that Biden signed the crime bill years ago with his man, Strong Thurmond. That Strong Thurmond right up there right now. You see Strong Thurmond. Strong Thurmond is one of the original Dixiecrats. Remember, the Dixiecrats ran from the Democratic Party over to the Republican Party. They took all their racism over there with them, even though both parties, that's why I said, both parties are one and the same. They both deal in racism and corruption and misleading the public. So he signed that crime bill, put that together with Strong Thurmond, and we've been talking about Joe Biden in this situation for a long time. But the one person that we forget to talk about was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton had to sign the bill to make it a law. So we should be blaming both Bill Clinton and Joe Biden as a package, as a team. Because Joe Biden, along with Strong Thurmond, put the legislation together, and then they did just like with the damn reparation, with the California Black Caucus didn't do, which is to put the reparations bill on the floor so that they can be voted on. There were 3 bills that needed to be voted on. But what did Joe Biden do? He put their bill on the floor. It got voted on. And then it went to Bill Clinton's desk so that he could sign it or veto it. Guess what? He signed it. So the crime bill is the brainchild of Joe Biden, Strong Thurmond, and those other individuals that were involved. Remember, Joe Biden's a Democrat, as well as another Democrat, Bill Clinton, who y'all said some years back ago, when y'all was loving Bill Clinton, y'all called him which I thought was ridiculous, y'all called him the first black president. Look what the first black president did to black people. The first black president, what did he do to black people? He helped sign the crime bill.
Because what you're doing is, President Biden and Kamala Harris, what you're doing is, you're saying that black and brown people will continue to be disposable. That's why we.
All right, Tariq is on this black and brown stuff, and we already know that there is no black and brown coalition, brother.
That's why we got to vote, and we got to make sure our voices are heard, Tariq.
No, what we got to do, ladies and gentlemen, no. What we got to do is we got to get people who are like-minded, people who have our agenda, and get rid of the people who don't have our agenda. Just the way we got to get rid of this congressional California caucus that has gone against us and betrayed black people of California who are for the reparations movement, right? We got to get rid of these folks right here in California. We got to get rid of some of those Negroes on the congressional black caucus at the federal level. We got to get rid of them. We got to get rid of the Clyburns, the butter biscuit types, and get us some real people in there who really want to help black people. That's what we need to do, Crump. No, it ain't about just voting. Vote for what? You vote for people who have an agenda for you and are like-minded with you. Because if you just vote the same old people in, you're going to get the same dumb prizes that we've been getting, which is nothing. Y'all all watch Charlie Brown. Put 7s in the chat room. Remember Charlie Brown on Halloween when he knocked on the door? What happened? Everybody got candy in their bags, and Charlie Brown got rocks.
Tell the truth.
That's how the Democratic Party has been treating black people, giving us rocks in our bags. And I'm not saying that the Republican Party going to be any different, because they've got no policy for us either.
And it matters when we speak up and speak truth to power. When we speak what's on our heart, we will be heard. But first, you got to have the courage.
It ain't about speaking what's on your heart, we will be heard. It's about making them do something. The only thing that politicians recognize is numbers. You got to have numbers of people we got to put pressure on them. We let them know, right? We let them know what's on our mind, but we got to make a demand of these. We got to demand what we want. We got to push and pull against them. And we have to tell them, if you don't do what we want, you're going to be out of office. We're voting you out, and we're going to replace you with somebody that's going to do our bidding. Politicians work for us. We don't work for them. Come on now, Crump, with that stuff. Stop it. Now, let's go over to the next video. Jermaine Dupri, he caught a little slack because he said that Kamala Harris had a conversation with him in which she revealed that her hands was tied, that she couldn't do anything as being the vice president, because a lot of people are saying, hey, Kamala Harris, why you're not doing anything? You were the vice president. You were in office all this time when Biden was doing what he was doing. And the truth of the matter is, the vice presidents don't really have the same power as a president. Let's just keep this real. If anybody knows about politics and you know about civics, you damn well know that vice presidents don't really have any power like that. They can't just make decisions unilaterally from the president. But however, she could influence Biden, that's for sure. But I want y'all to hear this from Jermaine Dupri. This was interesting.
Out here getting these 5 miles in, as you see me do every day. Real quick, I want to talk about the DNC. I feel like the DNC has been going amazing.
Hey, and for everybody in the chat room, I know I haven't shouted out any names or anything like that. We got Alicia, we got O Reliable, we got Jonathan Kidd, we got Dark Star 22, we got Styles, everybody, Peggy Roster, Shabazz, everybody put 7s in there. Share this video on your social media right now. If you're looking at me on a Twitter, on a tablet, a desktop, a laptop, whatever you got, you can push that button, that little area that says share, and you can send this video to your Twitter space, to your Facebook, and what have you. Go ahead and do that whenever you can. If you can now, that would be great. Get the algorithms cranking over here, and let's continue.
But I also feel like tonight, Kamala Harris has a pretty...
And let me say peace and love to Sunshine, who just came in the house, and everybody in the chat room. Thank you. All right. Sorry to keep cutting in. Here we go.
I feel like the DNC has been going amazing. But I also feel like tonight, Kamala Harris has a pretty difficult job, right?
Now he's talking about her speech that she gave, I think the last night of the convention, but he's going to say something very interesting, what I was talking about. You'll see.
And it's interesting because the Republican correspondent that's been doing the roundup after the DNC has ended, he asked the question that I kind of asked Kamala when we had our second meeting, you know, if, you know, the fact that she's in office right now, she's in the White House right now. And the guy, he said, what makes y'all believe that she's gonna get this stuff done if she becomes president and she's already in the House?
Boom, let's stop it right there. So you hear what he's saying. Jermaine Dupri was told by somebody, what makes you think that Kamala Harris is going to get the things done that she says she claims to get done if she's already been in the White House? Once again, she's the vice president. She's not the president. So I recognize that. I have enough political common sense to know that the vice presidents are more like symbolic symbols in the administration. However, she could influence Biden. She has his ear. She could talk to him and say, hey, this is what Black people need. This is some of the issues that we face, what have you. We would hope that she would be doing that. But when Jermaine Dupri was told this information, he revealed this. Oh, he caught a lot of hell. He had people coming at him. Let's continue.
And it's a tricky question because I asked Kamala basically the same thing, right? In so many words. And I asked her, like, as the vice president, why they don't let her talk when, you know, Biden seems like he needs or he needed someone to speak up for him. I thought that's what the role of the vice president was to help the president. And basically, she kind of let me know that her hands was tied, that they didn't really allow her to be a voice like that in that space.
Boom. Ask yourself this fundamental question, everybody. If they would not allow Kamala Harris to be a voice in the space, then why the hell is the Democrats so giddy and so excited about making her the next president? You see how this doesn't make sense? They didn't want her to speak much. She said to Jermaine Dupri that her hands were tied. I know she's the vice president. Biden is the president. But it's interesting to me how, as they threw Biden under the bus to get him out, they were so, I know that there were a lot of Democrats who really weren't in support of Kamala Harris being the candidate. They're not going to come out and tell you this truth. But I don't think they ever really wanted to make her the main person. I think they had to. I'm going to tell you why they had to. Because of the PAC money. Because of all that money that Biden was able to raise in the beginning, a whole nother candidate cannot have access to that PAC money. Only the vice president, Kamala Harris, only the vice president, in this case, Kamala Harris, would be able to access that money, that PAC money. So this was a political decision. This was an economic decision, things of that nature, because it sounds to me like they didn't want Kamala Harris doing no talking. That makes you wonder if the White House and the powers that be within Biden's circle, if they really thought that she had what it takes. These are just questions that I'm wondering. We have the right to ponder these things. Jermaine Dupri took a lot of heat for these ponderings that he did. Let's continue.
And tonight, I don't know if she's going to, I want to see how if she even touches on this, because if she doesn't touch on it, that's the question that I feel like the people that have mixed decisions about voting for her, this is one of the questions. This is the top question that they had. And like I said, this is what the Republicans are saying. And they never heard the part about her hands being tied. And if she says something about her hands being tied, then it makes it look like the White House or the Democratic Party didn't really want her to exceed.
Boom! Didn't I just make that observation, y'all? Did you hear what he just said? It makes it look like the White House never really wanted her. The White House, they go to White House right there, built by slaves, black people of lineage to this land, built that White House. He said it gives off the impression that the White House didn't really want her to accede, to be successful. What do you all think about that? I find that very interesting. This is your Democratic Party, y'all. I find that very, very interesting what he said.
So she can't really say her hands was tied, but she does have to step into that space. This is something I do believe.
And so he caught a lot of hell for making this observation. I mean, y'all, he caught a lot of hell from people, to the point that you had Roland Martin that got on with him and tried to school him on a few things. But I think that what Jermaine Dupri at the end of the day said had some interesting merit to it. Let's get into this right now.
Trump, J.D. Vance, Republican Party, all of them, their strategy, yes, Scott Jennings, is to say, well, if she's announcing these things, why didn't she get this done? Well, and then...
That's Roland Martin at the bottom. Jermaine Dupri, you're looking at his shirt. He's talking Jermaine Dupri.
When Jermaine talked about in his video what she said to him, that's actually true. The vice president serves at the pleasure of the president. The vice president can have their own views. The reality is the president sets the tone. A lot of people have been saying, well, the vice president, she needs to be doing this and saying this. She can't. She has to toe the line of the president. The vice president is not a separate elected position. There are some states in the union where the lieutenant governor runs separately from the governor, and they can take whatever position they want. In Texas, it's that way. But in Maryland, in Illinois, the lieutenant governor runs with the governor. And so that person has to support the line of the president. What people don't realize is the vice president can't just decide.
Let me say thank you to Larry Anything Goes LLC for the $10 super chat, brother. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you. He said, keep up the great work. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. I really appreciate that a lot, brother.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you very much, brother. Let's continue. I got lots of more goodies for you all, so don't go nowhere.
She wants to just, okay, I'm going to go give a speech on gun control in Florida. She can't do that because the White House, his advisors may say, that's not what we're focusing on right now. That's not our strategy. So the vice president is really handicapped in a way where it's really a position where your job is to support the president. And so I think what happened was, I think a lot of people, when you mention the Republican guy, they thought you were saying, oh, I'm agreeing with him, why she ain't getting this stuff done. So I think that's what happened.
Yeah, so and then like I said, I explained this to him yesterday to Ronald yesterday, and I mean, it's crazy these messages and everything that people saying. You said they was cooking me or you woke up, and they going crazy. But you know, one of the things I said to you last night that really shook me crazy was that as many people have so much things to say about me, it's crazy that the Dems that are voices, they're not saying this
right.
The public and you told me.
Right.
And that's the part I want everybody to understand.
Right.
I'm sitting here watching TV, I'm watching CNN. I'm not sitting here saying CNN. I don't do all that. I just watch TV. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching TV. I see people who have an opportunity to say exactly what you said.
Right.
And they're not correcting these people that's on TV.
Right.
So that was the conversation that he had with Jermaine Dupri. But I got to be honest, I think Jermaine Dupri made some interesting opinions. Let me ask this question to everybody fundamentally in the chat room and those that are listening. There's people who believe that Kamala Harris is Obama 2.0. Do you agree or disagree that if Kamala Harris was to get into office, that we would basically get the same thing that we've already gotten from Obama? The same thing, a lot of promises, a lot of hope talk, but where are the things that really mean a lot to black people? Like I said, we already had the California Congressional or the California Black Caucus who has betrayed black people in California when it comes to the reparations issue. We know that Obama was in office for 8 years. His first year, everybody kept telling us, oh, don't put a lot of pressure on the brother. Give the brother a chance. It's his first, we want this brother to be able to get a second term. And in his second term, he gonna do the black shit for us. And we were all patient. We waited. We said, okay. We gonna wait. We're not gonna put too much pressure on brother Barack. You know, it's his first term. Let him get his feet wet. You know, he's new to the job. Let's make it where he can get a second term. And a lot of black politicians, a lot of naysayers out there kept telling us to let him get that second term, because in that second term, he gonna do the black shit for us. And he didn't do reparations, and we didn't get no black shit. I want to do a report right here for you all. This man right here is my man, the great and the one and only Cornel West. Let me tell you what the Dems are doing to Cornel West right now, sunshine. Cornel West, they thought that his campaign was dead in the water, that he was dropping out. I guess he's still staying in. He did an interview on CNN not too long ago with Laura Coates, and come to find out the Democrats have done everything they can to get this man off the ballot. This black man right here. Say what you will. You may not support Cornel West. You might think that Cornel West is off his loony. You know, Cornel West likes to say all that. I love, you know, he likes to say things like, to our white brothers and our Latino brothers and our Asian brothers, and, you know, he loves everybody. He loves everybody. Right? But Cornel West has come out and has said that the Democratic Party has done everything to keep him out of the way because maybe they're scared that there are black voters and voters out there that he can peel away from Kamala Harris and even Donald Trump. Because if he was irrelevant, this is why I'm bringing this up. If Cornel was irrelevant, everybody, why would the Democrats work so hard to take this man off the voters roll where you can vote for him, to take him off? Why would they do that? Cornel West talked about that they've been playing these dirty tricks, the Democratic Party. And he also said this, and this is my brother, I gotta admit what he said. He also said, when you look at the Biden administration with Kamala Harris, and now that Kamala Harris is running for president, he says he doesn't hear any policy or any mention of black people specifically in her campaign, or even with Biden when it comes to the things that black people are suffering from in this country, who have been the most loyal voters for the Democratic Party. This is what my man Cornel West said. He broke it down. He says, where is the talk? Of course, he's one of those brothers that believes that the war in Gaza should be stopped. He's for the Palestinians and all those sort of things. But he said on that CNN, and I'm shocked that CNN let him get on there and say what he said. He said, where is the black shit for black people coming from Kamala Harris currently? Where was it coming out of the administration under Biden? There's a mention about everybody else, no mention about us. So I got to give Cornel West kudos for coming out and exposing these things that the Democrats are playing he said what we call undemocratic games. Meaning they're doing things that are not democratic, even though they claim to be democratic, while trying to purge this man from various states for people to vote for him or have the choice. I thought in a democracy, everybody, that you're supposed to have the choice to vote for who you want to vote for and make a decision for yourself. So if the Democrats are trying to purge Cornel West from some of the voters' rolls, that's not a very democratic thing to do.
Tell the truth.
What do you all think? This is crazy. Now, let's move on in the presentation here. And I don't know how many of you all seen, this was on Vive. I think it's a Vive. They have they're on television. They have a YouTube channel. They do exposés about things that happen to people. This is the brother Jamal Truelove. He was the one that was being railroaded in San Francisco under Kamala Harris's leadership of that department when she was the DA of San Francisco. And he said that she showed him no love, did nothing to help him when he was reaching out for help. And he got railroaded and he had to fight for his life because they were going to put him in prison where he could be in prison for the rest of his life. And he said he was railroaded. It came out in the wash that he didn't do the crime that they tried to accuse him of and that he wasn't that kind of a person. Check this out. Check this out. This needs to be told. We're not going to, on social media, what makes us different from mainstream media is that we try to bring the truth to the roof. We're not trying to hide it. We're not trying to suppress it. Check this out. And check this out. And I'm going to expose Trump today too. Trump's going to be exposed as well. We got some dirt on Trump's ass too. Okay? All right? I'm a equal opportunity get your behind. Here we go.
Many need, quite obviously, is help. Kamala Harris wrote that in her book, The Truths We Hold. Does that sound consistent with with the brand of justice that you saw administered by offices that she was running?
It definitely sounds like Kamala Harris right now as a senator But at the time of her being the head district attorney of San Francisco, that is almost polar opposite of what I felt and what our community felt in San Francisco.
So Jamal, where are we?
Right now we are in Sunnydale Projects.
I know something. Excuse me. He's going to be talking about Sunnydale Projects. I know that community very well. When I was in college, my organization, we did work in that community with mentoring youth in that community. So all the neighborhoods that he's going to show you are neighborhoods that I know people in. I've been on these streets. I've lived in San Francisco, the Fillmore area, all of that. I'm very familiar with these streets and streets in San Francisco.
Where I was born and raised at. Now, this isn't a place that you'll want to bring outsiders into, and a place that they don't want to go. This ain't a place that feels comfortable. It feels like you might get robbed, you might get shot.
The police were keeping files on you, and your brothers, and other people who were living in Sunnydale from a very young age.
They already had me labeled because I'm in this community as a potential gang member.
That's what they do in San Francisco. They target black people and try to, everything that brother just said, that's what they do. That's what they do, everybody.
Potential killer, potential drug dealer. You gotta wake up to the fact that, you know, things are set up against us.
There is a conspiracy.
Yes.
It happened to you.
Exactly.
It's proven in court.
Absolutely. Places like this have been developed for predominantly African-American people to not be able to succeed beyond it.
Yeah. What did you know about Kamala Harris? What did you know about San Francisco having a black DA?
Nobody in the hood ever worried or focused on the DA position.
That's a fact, everybody. What he's saying is a fact.
In general, but people did focus on it just a tad bit, that it was black, and feeling like, okay, this black lady in office, Kamala Harris, she was gonna understand where we come from.
Boom. You hear what the brother said, that Kamala Harris would understand what black people are going through and where they come from. This is the question. This is the question, everybody. How could Kamala Harris understand black people in San Francisco and where they come from when she's not been in their place? Remember, she comes from a middle-class background where her mother was ramen Indian, which was a very high class. Her father was a professor. How many black people that grew, that the area that they're in is the Sunnydale housing project area that used to be right next to where I think Cow Palace is gone. There was a place called Cow Palace where the Warriors used to play, where they had concerts and what have you. None of the people that live in that community come from the background of having two parents that are professors, middle class background, having the privilege of being able to live in Canada for a while. No. Nobody in that neighborhood has that background. And most of those black people that live in that neighborhood, they are what we would call ADOS, or black people who have a foundational background to this country. So there's no way. The brother at that time, he probably didn't realize this. She did not have a connection to the black community because Kamala Harris, and I don't care what anybody thinks, Kamala Harris doesn't come from the struggle of that very community that this brother is talking about. And this is facts.
Tell the truth.
You know, and have more of a sympathetic way of prosecuting people that come from our communities who have been plagued with no opportunities.
Right.
This is Hunter's Point.
Boom, I know Hunter's, where he's at right now. Hunter's Point. There's Betrayal Hill in San Francisco. I know this community very well. I have friends in this community. I ran through this community growing up as a kid, living in the Fillmore area. And then you had the Hunters Point area. So these are areas in San Francisco where you have large pockets of the black community, black people that are working class, poor working class. You have black people that are working and doing the right thing, and then you have black people, unfortunately, that are out there selling drugs and living a street life. So you have a mixture of these type of black people in these type of communities. And once again, Kamala Harris doesn't come from this kind of background. She can't relate to it. This is why she couldn't relate to this brother. Just saw him as another thug.
Where these different projects and communities used to really war with each other.
Right, they did.
Jamal, in July 2007, what's going on in your life at that point?
I had recently just came off of I Love New York, and also that's when my friend Sel Kuka got killed.
More than a year goes by and no one's been arrested in the case. You hadn't even been questioned.
Haven't even been questioned, no. The police was still, trying to get a conviction by all means necessary. When I was arrested for it, the community knew I didn't do it. And it was here we go again. See, this is why we don't trust, law enforcement.
You hear what that brother's saying? Hear what that brother's saying? It's a trip.
Because it gets to a point where somebody who didn't do something goes to jail for it. I don't have no history of crime. What's up, boy? I have a history of being around in the community.
Right. This is typical in San Francisco. You can grow up in some of these hoods or some of these places in San Francisco where you know people. I grew up the same way, where you know people that are drug dealers. You know people that are sort of pimps. You know people that are living a street life. But you know them, but that doesn't mean you're engaging in the same lifestyle. You could very well live. That's how it is in the Bay Area. That's how it is in places like San Francisco, where you may not be doing criminality, but you live in a neighborhood with people that are, but you just happen to know them. I remember when I was growing up, I used to play basketball at Hamilton Gym in the Fillmore area. And most of the guys that were coming in the gym that I would play basketball with that I got to know, they were from the community. And some of them were hustlers, sold drugs, did a little bit of everything. I couldn't hide from these people because they were in the community. And you just happen to know them. Doesn't mean that you were engaging in the same lifestyle. And you can easily be pinned in with these guys because you're living in the same damn neighborhood damn near.
But that doesn't mean that I'm a suspect. I'm like, oh man, I'll be out within 72 hours. They're gonna figure this out. They're gonna clear this up.
And then when you found out what the evidence was that they supposedly had you on, there wasn't much there. Can you describe what it was?
They had a woman saying that she seen me kill Sel. The second witness that they had really wasn't a witness at all. She said anything that the police officers wanted her to say, and they said that her recollection of the events was extremely credible. So that's what ultimately got the arrest warrant.
The District Attorney of San Francisco, Kamala Harris, appeared in the courtroom during your trial twice.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah, the two times that Kamala Harris showed up to my trial was when I got convicted, and also when they laid down the sentencing.
When you saw her on the day that the verdict was handed down, did you take that as a bad sign?
It felt to me that she was well aware about my case.
Boom, stop it right there. This is Jamal Truelove. You guys can look this up for yourself. He went through trials and tribulations, y'all, and he had to fight it. And I gotta be honest, Kamala Harris didn't do anything to help this brother when he was trying to reach out for help. I'm just keeping, this is why you have black men, particularly in California and around the country, who have issues with Kamala Harris, as whether it be when she was the DA or the top cop of California. This stuff doesn't come from thin air. Oh, I got so much to show you, or a little bit more to show you. I wanna say peace to Jonathan Kidd. He says it's real talk. Another CG says it's facts, reliable. Jay, the informant, is in the house saying, I'm sure there was more hard-working folks than Yeah, there's always more hard-working folks in these communities than criminals. But every time you do have criminality in these communities, that's what always gets stand out. Remember, when something happens, they put it on the news. Like any community around the country, and they do what? They magnify it, right? Let's get back to this.
And she was there to set her presence, almost take pride in getting a conviction.
Wow.
When I put in my appeal, the people that's fighting against my appeal to keep the conviction is the Attorney General office. I learned it reading, their reply to my appeal, and you see Kamala Harris' name at the bottom. And now it's starting to feel a little personal.
When you win the $13.1 million, it's a massive settlement. Did you feel like that was
13, let's pull that back.
When I put in my appeal, the people that's fighting against my appeal to keep the conviction is the Attorney General office. I learned it reading, their reply to my appeal, and you see Kamala Harris' name at the bottom. And now it's starting to feel a little personal.
When you win the
This brother won a $13.1 million settlement from San Francisco because Kamala Harris in her office wrongly accused him of a crime that he did not do. They tried to frame this man for murder. And y'all wonder why there are black men, particularly in the California area, and there are black men across the country who feel some kind of way about Kamala Harris. It's not based on people just making up stuff. These are things that did happen. Let's continue.
$13.1 million is a massive settlement. Did you feel like that was enough?
There's not an amount that could get back those 7 years. That was 6.5 years that I spent in prison.
This man spent 6.5 years in prison for something that he did not do, that Kamala Harris signed off on in her office, wrongly convicting this man of something that he did not do. And the police, law enforcement in San Francisco have been targeting this man since he was a kid because he lived in a neighborhood where he knew people that did a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But he wasn't engaging in criminal activity.
But instead of me coming home feeling like I was a victim, I wanted to prove that I'm a survivor, and I will not let my story go unheard.
Facts.
I'm not necessarily saying I'm looking for an apology, but some acknowledgement from her that she could have messed up will be, of course, that'd be huge. You could have made some mistakes. You could have missed some things. For me, it was a big miss. I had life in prison. I've met people.
You hear what this brother is saying? He was facing life in prison. Now you hear what this brother is saying. And he's saying he wished that she would at least given him an apology, that she would have acknowledged. This is the thing.
Prison that was wrongfully convicted. I want my story to be out to provoke reform ultimately. Beyond that, I want to be able to be who I want to be. I'm an actor, I'm a musician, I'm a father. I'm more than this person that was framed. I'm more than this person that was wrongfully convicted.
So that's that brother's story. Man, I'm just trying to put some perspective out here on these YouTube streets tonight. Things that people need to know. I would have loved to have gone live earlier in the day. I had a lot of technical problems, so I really was trying to go live with this a lot earlier in the day. But let's continue because we got more. Let's get to Trump because Trump has some issues too. We talked about what him and his father did in terms of discriminating against black people when it comes to housing. I want y'all to look at this small little segment on Trump. He was dirty. He did some dirty stuff. And y'all need to know that. And him and his father were stock, lock, and barrel and discriminating against black people. And I'm not going to set up here just because he's running for president and because I'm not caught up in his personality, his celebrity. I see him for what he is. I've always known this about Trump. Ain't nobody on these YouTube streets or nobody going to change my mind about this man and his racism. And he's a transactional figure. So even when you see him with people in the past that look like us, it was transactional. And y'all need to understand that. So let's go into his little dirty. Well, I'm going into both of their dirty laundry tonight. Let's go into some dirty laundry about Trump. And here we go.
14,000 apartments in 39 different buildings, all mostly white tenants. That is until the Department of Justice took notice in 1973 and slammed Donald Trump and his father, Fred Trump, with a lawsuit. Trump management was charged with discriminating against African Americans and breaking federal law. Donald Trump, then just 27, was president of the company. The Department of Justice accused the Trumps of violating the Fair Housing Act, arguing they were renters based on race and color. Who tipped them off? Local activists, so-called testers, posing as potential renters at Trump's buildings, mainly in Brooklyn and Queens. Elise Goldweber was a lawyer for the DOJ's Fair Housing section at the time and was called on to handle the Trump case.
When the black testers came, they were shown, they may have been shown apartments, but were told nothing was available. Whereas when the white testers came, yes, there were things that were available. That would be the norm.
And if the Trumps did rent to a black person, Goldweber recalls, they would do so only at one building in Brooklyn, reserving the other buildings for white tenants.
That the white people would live in Trump Village and the people of color would live in Flatbush.
And according to the Justice Department, they even had a secret coding system to do it, a racial code. Here's how.
Some of the applications were marked with a C, which we learned that it meant colored, so that the prospective tenants who had come in.
Y'all see that? Donald Trump and his father had certain codes so that they can identify if it was a black person or someone that they didn't want in their homes or their apartments. So they had a little system to put forth their racism. Let's continue.
Were noted to be colored.
Yes, you heard her right. The Department of Justice alleged applications submitted by prospective African American renters were designated with a secret code, such as C for colored, to indicate a black person was
C for colored, and you write another CG, just like the cops, right? Right, C for color.
Looking to rent. In true Trump fashion, Donald Trump hit back, calling the government's accusations absolutely ridiculous, and telling the court, I have never, nor has anyone in my organization ever, to the best of my knowledge, discriminated or shown bias in the renting of our apartments. Trump's lawyers said the government's suit failed to give names, addresses, or specific incidences of discrimination. Claiming the lawsuit caused substantial damage to their business and reputation, Trump took the most unusual step of suing the Justice Department for defamation, seeking $100 million in damages. But that countersuit was tossed
You're
out.
Absolutely right. Trump was notorious and still remains that way for not paying people for the work that they do.
By the judge. Even so, the Trump family maintained they never discriminated based on color, but were instead trying to avoid renting to people on welfare. 2 years.
You see the stereotype here? They had a code. Trump and his father. Let me tell you something about Trump's father, too. I'm going to put up here. Check this out. Trump's father, Fred Trump, was arrested twice in 1927 during a Ku Klux Klan riot, and in 1976 over code violations of a building he owned in Maryland. I'm gonna bring that up and show you the evidence of that in just a moment. Let's get back to this.
Later in 1975, Trump and his father settled the case, agreeing not to discriminate against anyone. They also promised to advertise in publications aimed at minorities.
The bottom line is they didn't want black people in their homes or their apartments, their high-rise apartments, because Trump and his father associated welfare with being black people. You know how this works, everybody. You're old enough in that chat room to know what I'm talking about here, that people stereotype, especially in these days, in the 70s, people associated welfare, Queens and welfare, with being black people, even though we know to this very day with proper research that that white people are on welfare more than any other group. They have been the biggest benefactors of the welfare system, and that's a fact. Let's get back to it.
Familiarize themselves with the details of the Fair Housing Act and notify civil rights groups of apartment vacancies. The Department of Justice claimed victory, but the Trumps never admitted any wrongdoing, reportedly noting the settlement was in no way an admission of a violation.
Now, remember I told you about his father or his discrimination, and Trump was involved in this too with his father because that's his daddy, right? That's his daddy. I told you that he also violated some housing codes, buildings that he owned in Maryland. You know what part of Maryland it was? It's one of the richest parts of the state of Maryland. I think it's Prince County. Right here. This is the actual article. NY owner of the PG unit seized in code violation. The New York owner of the apartments. This is from the actual news clip. Project in Seat Pleasant was arrested in Prince Georgia County. I'm sorry. Prince George's County was known as one of the richest counties, and they had a lot of black folks that lived out there in the country. Okay, so his father was actually arrested for these violations. Check this out. Check this out. Complaints with 5 sightings for housing code violation filed against the projects 9 months ago. Fred C. Trump, 70 years old, was taken into custody at Gregory Estates. Yeah, that was his father. That's his father. Check this out. I got more data for you. In the latter case, Fred Trump, also real estate developer, and remember, Trump was doing all this stuff with his father. Real estate developer was arrested in Prince George's County, Maryland, just outside of D.C., and known these days for its team of black women in leadership. So Prince George's County was known for having a lot of black women in leadership and for being one of the county's richest majority black counties, y'all. Check this out right here. This is the community that he did wrong against. Here's a picture, and you can see, look at those nice grass and children, black kids out there playing. Says right here, Pleasant Homes is, I guess, what he owned. Pleasant Homes Apartments in Seat Pleasant, Maryland in 2016, formerly known as Gregory Estates. The complex was once owned by Donald Trump's father, Fred Trump, who was arrested, briefly jailed in 1976 for failing to fix housing code violation. You know why he did this. Because he had no respect for the black people that lived in that community. He was a I guess a slumlord or whatever you want to call it. He was a man who didn't repair things in a community with people who looked like me and you in the chat room that he didn't give a damn about. And along with that, you have his son, Donald Trump, who joined in with his father to continue the fuckery right here. Let me let y'all see this. There go. Him, Donald Trump, engaged in the effery with his father, y'all. He was involved. So don't tell me that Donald Trump doesn't have a history of racism. I've already read the history of his racism from the 1970s to 2020. I did that in another video that I did. He has a long history. I don't care if he's smoothing with Jesse Jackson, if he's hanging out with rappers. Hell, Thomas Jefferson had slaves. He had slaves that he impregnated. He had a slave woman that he impregnated and still treated his own flesh and blood kids like slaves. So that doesn't matter to me, because you got plenty of people that cannot like you, but they'll still do what they can to extract what they can from you. And Trump is a transactional figure. I don't want to hear anything. Now, let's go back to another one that y'all going to find interesting. This is about the fact that Kamala Harris has these truancy laws that she put into place in California. Truancy cost us all. She says, I see what happens on the back end of school failure. Young lives are being lost to the streets, violence in prison, and time at, okay, check this out. This is why Kamala Harris claimed that she did what she did. These are stats, and these are not good stats, y'all. Elementary school truancy rates. Truancy kids are elementary school students at 44%. So the truancy rates, this is in San Francisco at the time, or in California at the time, the truancy rates are at 44% at the time. Let's go for another stat right here. Truancy and homicide rates of San Francisco homicide victims under age 25 were high school dropouts at 94%. That's not a good stat. That's not good. That's not good. Truancy and homicide rates, I already read that part again. Let's put this back up. Truancy and homicide rates, San Francisco homicide victims under age 25 were high school dropouts at 94. And then right here, truancy amongst California prison inmates were high school dropouts. So every 2 out of 3 individuals that commit crime are high school dropouts. This is where Kamala Harris was trying to lay her bones on this issue here, but it did some irreparable damage, and we're going to show you how right here. Check this out. Check this out. Check out what this sister going to say right here. Check this out.
When she was a prosecutor and the way in which she prosecuted parents for the truancy. I'm talking about when she... Not a single parent went to jail for that, by the way. And did. And she... So that's incorrect. When she was...
No, you're wrong. There were parents that went to jail, but let's hear some more of this.
Let me pick up on Amisha Cross's not a single parent rebuttal and set the record straight on this. It's true. Kamala Harris never sent parents to jail for their kids' truancy.
On the issue of truancy, that role was the role of saying, I'm going to prosecute parents, and hopefully playing in position, doing that, and we did prosecute some cases, but far few only.
You see here on that MSNBC program, I think that was Joy Reid who said she never put any parents in jail or prosecuted. That's a lie. She's telling you right here that they did prosecute some parents. Listen up.
About 20.
20 people. Joy Reid in MSNBC said that it was true that she never prosecuted or put any parents in jail. And you have Kamala Harris out of her own mouth saying in that video that I played, and I've got more, saying that she put at least 20 parents in jail. So this is the thing that kills me. You got these people on mainstream media making lots of money, broadcasting live into the homes of everybody, putting out information that's not true. And here we are on social media, on YouTube. We can put out better information, better facts than they can, and find the receipts. Like this right here. Check this out. And you're going to look at how she laughed about what took place here. Check this out.
To every parent in the school district, outlining
2010.
The connection that was statistically proven between elementary school truancy, high school dropouts, who will become a victim of crime, and who will become a perpetrator of crime.
Let me just stop that real quick and put this up here, and let's hear this again.
Between elementary school truancy, high school dropouts, who will become a victim of crime, and who will become a perpetrator.
Now, I have to say, for the purpose of being an honest broker here, that if you are a high school dropout, you don't get education, it opens the door, because I deal with guys in the system, it opens the door for you to go to prison. Yes, it creates a higher threshold for bad things to happen. So I got to admit that is true, but continue to listen here. She's already admitted in that other video that I played that she put at least 20 parents in jail. Check this out.
We sent it out to everyone. A friend of mine actually called me and he said, Kamala, my wife got the letter. She freaked out. She brought all the kids into the living room, held up the letter, said, if you don't go to school, Kamala's going to put you and me in jail.
This is not funny. You hear people laughing in the background, but I don't find this funny at all because there were parents in California that got such a letter and they were impacted and it affected them emotionally, physically, the whole nine yard. And there were parents who had kids that had legitimate reasons why they weren't in school that got impacted by Kamala Harris's law that she put in place. As she laughed here with all these folks, I think it's damn right disrespectful. I'm not getting caught up in this love affair of we got to get this black woman in office by all means. No, this black woman has yet to tell black people what she's going to do for black people, but she damn sure has a record of making things miserable for some black people in the time that she was Attorney General of California. That's a fact. Nobody can debate me on this because there's too many damn receipts out there to prove it out. I'm telling black people at all, for all of you, if you plan to vote for Kamala Harris, if you plan to vote for Donald Trump, you need to find out where is their black agenda? What is the plan for us? That's what I want to know. Let's continue.
Yes, we achieved intended effect to every parent in the school district.
Listen to this right here, quick.
Yes, we achieved intended effect to every.
So what Kamala Harris is saying is she's laughing there, which I don't find anything about this funny, is that she said they achieved the intended effect of sending letters to scare parents by making parents believe that they were going to go to jail. This is not funny. This affects people's lives. This is why I want to bring this up to you right here. Do you see this woman right here? This is Miss Peoples. She had an interview on Tone Talks channel. Shout out to Tone Talks. And she is a victim of Kamala Harris's policy. You can find this article on the Huffington Post. Let me give you the breakdown title of it. It's called Human Costs of Kamala Harris War on Truancy. Tone Talk talked about this. You can see at the bottom where the police have her in handcuffs. The whole thing is a damn shame. While she's laughing and talking about the effective in 2010, January 14, where she's doing a press conference and laughing about the attendant effect of her laws, scaring parents, there were people who really did get impacted. While people think that nobody got arrested, this woman was arrested, Miss Peoples. Let's hear her tell her story, everybody. This is fair use, fair use. Let's hear her story right now.
I'm always the one looking for services, trying to find advocates to help me with the situation. So thinking that the investigator was there to help me, I'm giving out information, not knowing until he was getting ready to leave my house. And I said, "Excuse me, sir." He was like, "Here's my business card." And I looked at it and it said Buena Park Police Department. No attorney. I said, "Wait a minute. Do I need a lawyer?" He said, "Oh, no, Miss Peoples, you're fine." And I'm like, okay, in the back of my mind, I'm like, something not right. So about 30 days later, a knock on the door. My son's father actually answered because I was asleep because our son was colicky.
You hear her story? You hear what she's saying, everybody? About the police knocking at her door? Do y'all hear what she's saying? This is crazy. It's crazy.
And just put him to bed. Shayla actually went to school this day. And he come back and he was waking me up like, Sheree, the police at the door. And I'm like, police? Did he just say police? Like, why would the police? You know, in my mind, because I'm asleep. So we had a townhouse, so I had to go down the stairs to get to the door. I open up the door and sun is in my face. I'm looking at this cop. He was like, "Are you Sheree Peoples?" I said, "I'm Sheree." And he was like, "I have a warrant for your arrest." I said, "No, you don't." And he was like, "Yes, I do." I said, "No, you don't." And he was like, I have a warrant for truancy under Shayla. I said, Shayla, really?
You hear what she's saying? This is under Kamala Harris's policies when she was the top cop in California.
Really? And I laughed at him like, this ain't right. And he was like, I said, well, do you got to put handcuffs on me? He was like, yeah, it's the law. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm about to go to jail. I said, can I go to the bathroom? He was like, yeah, just make sure you get your jacket. Get my jacket and bring your cell phone. Bring your cell phone. I said, okay, so you can call your family when you get out. I was like, I'm about to go to jail. That's all I kept saying. Like, I'm about to go to jail. So I grabbed my jacket, grabbed my cell phone. I walked down the stairs. I was to the 4th step. He said, ma'am, place your hands behind your back. I was like, oh, they really about to do this. And they put them handcuffs on me. I said, them suckers was cold. I was like, I don't see how people go to jail, because that wasn't for me, that whole experience. So when they opened the door, the sun was like literally beaming in my face, and I can hear the so I looked.
Do you hear what this sister is saying? This is what they did. They came to her house, and this was a situation where her child was out of school because her daughter had medical problems. She had serious medical issues, which Miss People said the school was aware of. I think she's from the Southern California area in California.
And it looked like it was 150 people outside of my house with suits on. And the cameras. I was like, so the picture you see me, it was like, oh my God, all these people. And then they put me in the car. The windows was rolled up. At this point, I'm starting to have a panic attack because I got these handcuffs on, these cameras all over the place. And I see all these black suits and cars blocked off. I was like, who did I kill? And at the time, I'm like, truancy? Because I was always talking to the principal. Hey, what's going on? I just had this meeting. Hey, I just got these absences overturned. What's up?
You hear what she's saying? She already talked to the principal. The absences that her daughter had were already overturned because her daughter had a medical condition that did not allow her to go to school. This is a byproduct of the flaws in Kamala Harris's policies when she was the Attorney General of California. Black folks who are running around here, even though I know, you don't want to vote for Trump. I'm not asking anybody to vote for Trump. I don't like Trump at all. But I'm just saying, for everybody that's being caught up in this love fest over Kamala Harris, this is the truth. Her policies did hurt black people in California. As much as y'all want to run around and say, she's a black woman, well, this black woman's policies hurt black people in California. Just like those no good ass congressional black caucus in the Assembly of California didn't have the guts to vote for the reparations bill. They let their own damn bills die. They failed black people. They played games and they failed us, except for Brother Bradford. He's the only one that stood up like a man to fight for the reparations bill. All the rest of these all the rest of these people, man, can kiss my you know what. It's a damn shame.
Like, I had to go to the district and get these absences overturned. I had to go in front of the board of supervisors. Okay.
So they already knew who she was then, if she had to do that. So why were police? Why did police have to be involved in this whole situation?
This wasn't just
so now let me ask you something, because we're backing up. What's weird about this whole setup for me with Kamala is and it started in San Francisco. She has this whole system, and I'll read about it in a second, where she would send in San Francisco her DAs to go and question parents. And then you have a use of that information then to criminalize or to bring charges. It's very sketchy as a criminal defense attorney. It sounds like it was even a step further in your case, because you have an investigator that actually from the police department coming and asking you questions, but not making it clear that he's actually doing it to investigate a potential charge.
You hear what Tone Talks is saying. Now, he is a lawyer. He's right about that. You hear what he's saying? He's saying that there's something that was shady about the policy.
And then using that information against you. I mean, again, I'll bring it back. This is Cherie Peoples. Huffington Post covered her. She is one of the victims of Kamala Harris's truancy laws. Her daughter had sickle cell anemia. She had the paperwork.
Daughter has sickle cell anemia. She was a victim of Kamala Harris's truancy policy. Miss Peoples, here she is right here. And here's the article. You can look this up on Huffington Post. It's entitled "The Human Cost of Kamala Harris's War on Truancy." Definitely look that article up. Read it for yourself thoroughly. And let's get back.
And they wouldn't accept the paperwork. Essentially, under these truancy laws, she was forced to go to jail. How long did you were you in jail?
I mean, they told me that it was a special warrant and they were processing release. And at the time, I had no clue on what they were talking about. So it really was just to make a point, a TV statement, because I went in and went out that same day. But the whole entire process after that has been a lifetime, because it hasn't been a moment that it hasn't followed me, whether I'm dealing with, my income situation, I'm dealing with the eviction, whether I'm dealing with making sure my daughter has health care, it still follows me because I still have my arrest record. So even though the charges were dropped at the end of the day, it was just like, that's it. Like, no apology.
This is a damn shame. She got no apology. They put this on her record. Crazy.
No, I'm sorry. No, nothing, and then they waited so long to where my options for tort was just out, and then nobody would pick up my case. I was blackballed. Like, my name, no matter who.
Nobody would pick up her case. This was all under the policies of Kamala Harris. This is what people don't want us to talk about. They want us to ignore these facts, step away from these facts, because they want us to get caught up in the whole celebration of her selling out stadiums and this whole talk, her playing the song Freedom and all this sort of stuff. You didn't give that woman freedom. Your policies hurt that woman. You hurt Jamal Truelove. I'm just scratching at the surface here, folks. Right? I think in America, you're supposed to do what? You're supposed to be found innocent until you're found guilty. But we know when it comes to black people, we are guilty until they can find us innocent. That's the truth.
Tell the truth.
Now, let's go back into the little monster himself, Donald Trump. Well, I'm not going to let him off the hook so easily either. Let's go back into his nonsense as well, going all the way back to the Central Park 5. And I do know that the Democrats, as Tariq Nasheed was talking about, the Democrats in New York had a lot to do with this, but Trump was involved with Democrats at that time. There was no mega party as we know of today. And so let's go at this right now and let you hear. It's the Central Park 5.
Kevin Richardson, 44 years old. Corey Wise. Raymond Santana.
Yusuf Salam, 45 years old. Antron McCray.
5 men connected in a way few of us could ever imagine. Is there a day or a week or a month that goes by when you don't think about the whole episode that brought you together?
It's every day, constantly. Probably my second or third thought.
These brothers were teenagers when this all happened. Now, I know that you have black folks on the social media now that are trying to come out and say that they're guilty. Well, the DNA testing was new at the time. Well, if you're going to bring up that DNA testing was new at the time, you better say the same thing for all the other white folks out there, all the other people out there that got off on that same DNA test that proved their innocence, damn it.
Even our conversations is different. It's not normal. Our conversations would be about prison, how we had to survive in prison.
You've just met the Central Park Five, a name they came to share 30 years ago after a young white woman named Trisha Miley went for a jog in New York's Central Park.
It was a brutal attack on a 28-year-old woman jogger.
She was dragged down the bushes where she was beaten and sexually assaulted.
The attack was an outrage and became a media sensation. Investigators quickly focused on a group of black and Hispanic boys who were in the park that night.
Police say the gang of attackers was actually just half of a wolf pack of some 33 kids that committed some 7 other muggings earlier that night.
We are announcing the...
They tried to claim that these brothers committed other muggings that night. That never was proven. This whole thing was a sham, but let's
arrests of 4 males, all between 14 and 15 years of age.
Let them through, let them through.
Eventually, the 5 teenagers were tried, convicted, and imprisoned for the crime.
And remember, when they were being convicted, Donald Trump at the time was not a politician. He wasn't a judge or a lawyer, but he was very influential in the city or in the state of New York, in the city. He took out an $85,000 page ad saying that they should be, executed, that he has no love for them. He sees nothing but hate towards them. And we're going to get to that. Let's continue to play this.
They maintained they did not do.
All right. So, I'm free and I'm equal opportunity get you with showing all receipts, because all these politicians, both Republican and Democrats, they both got dirty laundry. And I asked the question again as my main theme of the night: what do black people get from both Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Where's the black agenda? I don't hear Kamala Harris. Let's just be honest about this. I'm going to repeat this again. I don't see a black or hear a black agenda from Donald Trump. I hear Donald Trump just basically questioning her race and making these sort of cheap statements towards her. But I don't hear Donald Trump telling black people what his black agenda is for black people. And we don't hear a black agenda at all from Kamala Harris. These are facts. Y'all may not like the video tonight. Some of you that are fans of either one of them, I split it right down the line and show both sides of the argument here. And here is another situation as it relates to the Central Park Five. Check this out.
Working on us. And I'm hearing Corey being physically beaten in the next room. And I'm immediately beyond afraid.
They were kids,
At the time, my mom, she suffered from a stroke. She had diabetes, and she left. And that was their time to get on me.
And what happened?
What didn't happen?
We're 14, 15, and 16-year-old kids. Never been in trouble with the law, never had no police contact. These are seasoned veterans. This fight was fixed.
I just kept telling the truth at first. They asked to speak to my father. My father left the room with them, came back in the room, he just changed. Cursing, yelling at me. And he said, tell these people what they want to hear so you go home.
You know damn well that the New York police had a history, allegedly, of when they would come across black youth, they would put pressure. We all know the story. You get stopped by police. That police is crooked. They get you inside the police station. They start to say certain things to you to make you give up a confession that's not true. I'm pretty sure they operated on his father. They probably told his father, if you don't tell your son to say this or say that, we can make it where he never gets out of prison. You'll never see him out of... It's no telling what they said to his father at frightened him. We're talking about back in the day here now.
I was like, Dad, but I ain't do anything.
And Trump may not have been the lawyer. He may not have been a prosecutor. I'm gonna name the prosecutor. He may not have been any of these individuals, but Trump was a contributor indirectly, like everybody else in New York, who railroaded these young men. And the DNA that came out, evidence that came out, proved that they did not do it. But yet we got people on the YouTube streets who now want to question the DNA. Well, damn it, you better question all the damn DNA of every white person who got off on the same damn DNA test. Everybody.
The police yelling at me, father yelling at me. And I just like, all right, I did it.
See? You see what he just said? He had the police yelling. And this is the first violation that they did. They started interrogating the Central Park 5, these youth, without their parents. You can't do that. That's illegal. When you're dealing with minors and they've got parents, you're not supposed to start asking them questions yet because they're minors. They have a right to lawyers. They have a right for their parents to be there to know what the hell's going on. So everything that they did with talking to these kids when they were kids was wrong because they were minors. They put pressure on his father, which then turned around and then making him confess to something that he did not do. That's the game that they play.
And I looked up to my father. He's my hero. But he gave up on me. You know, I was telling the truth. He just told me to lie.
Did you ever make peace with your father?
No. Didn't want to. My life is ruined. Why should I? He's a coward.
Wow.
Let me tell you right now, Corey, okay? This is very, very serious.
None of the 5 ever admitted to committing the rape, but they did confess to being there.
You know that other people say that you did.
I know I did. They blamed each other, damning admissions, even in the absence of physical evidence.
Nope. See? So when people on the YouTube streets put out videos to try to make it seem like they were guilty, there was no, even when the Central Park 5, under duress, stress, admitted and said, oh, they admitted to being there but not doing anything to harm the woman, there was no physical evidence that showed and proved that they actually did something to the jogger. In the DNA that came out eventually, when DNA came out in its early stages, that also exonerated them. That also showed they didn't do it. Plus, on top of that, they never found any physical evidence on the scene to link them to doing what they were being accused of. So if you got somebody on the YouTube streets trying to push these theories about how they actually guilty, that person doesn't know what they're talking about, because they're using the fact that these young men were made to say things that were not true. We already know what happens in police stations when the police try to get you to admit to something that you didn't do. And there's been plenty of cases where people have admitted to doing stuff that they didn't do because the police were steadfast to find a conviction on someone. And if you were black, they damn sure wanted to get you, put your name on the damn charges of the conviction.
Blood on their clothing. The semen doesn't match. The DNA tests come back negative. There's nothing that links these boys to the crime.
See?
All were found guilty. 4 of the 5 served about 7-year sentences as juveniles,
7 to 10.
refusing early parole because it required admitting guilt. But the oldest of the group, Corey Wise, served time as an adult. In his 13th year in prison, Wise had a chance encounter with another inmate that would change the lives of all the men convicted of the rape.
The resolution of this whole tragedy came from...
Remember, she's the director that made the When They See Us on Netflix.
Something that I don't believe is happenstance. It's a coincidence that borders on miracle.
Matias Reyes spotted Wise in a prison yard.
So just talking to me. Wow, you still here after all these years? I guess so.
They'd met years before, and he began to feel guilty that Wise was still in prison for a crime Reyes had committed.
Now, this is another component when you get people that are trying to tell you that they're guilty. There was a guy who was a serial or, he did things to women. This guy admitted to doing the crime. You had someone who came forward, and the reason why they were able to accept this guy admitting to the crime because he told them things about the crime scene that only someone would know that was there and engaged in the crime. You're going to hear us. You're going to hear it.
He saw Corey and was like, he's still here? I got to tell the truth.
Reyes confessed that he alone committed the rape, offering details about the crime that only the assailant would know.
Boom. So when you get people on the YouTube streets that are pushing the narrative that they are guilty, how do you account for someone who says he did the crime and he knew everything about the crime scene and everything that only a person that was there that did the crime would know? How do you get past that? Answer that question to people out there who want to put out those narratives.
His DNA was a match, and the men were...
And his DNA... So check this out. Everybody went, it was... DNA was new at the time. Okay, how do you explain that his DNA was a match, but their DNA wasn't a match? How do you explain? Even if the DNA test, we know it's more sophisticated today, but we know that that was the technology that they were using at that time. How do you explain that his DNA matches, plus he was able to explain the scene and what went on? And remember, Donald Trump was putting out those ads, pushing the narrative that they should be killed. Wait till I show you that video of him saying that they should be hated and we should eliminate them.
Exonerated. The city of New York...
5 men exonerated by DNA test planned suit against NYC. They won their suit.
Eventually agreed to a $41 million settlement, about $1 million for each year of imprisonment. Did the money make it better?
We were able to relocate, put our children in better situations. Besides that, no.
No amount of money could have given us our time back.
Is there a life lesson for what you've been through?
Truth. I preach to my kids.
You see what this is all about? Let's go ahead and hear them at the Democratic convention. And I know there's people like Tariq Nasheed who said that right here, Tariq, when he was going back and forth with Luther Campbell, who I've just roasted on my channel, roasted him real good. Check that video out on the Info Media Reacts channel. Make sure you subscribe to that channel, folks. But right here, Tariq Nasheed says, Luke, do you and the other non-FBAs have some smoke for Democrats who actually prosecuted those innocent men and had them unjustly imprisoned? Here you go with the FBA. Your daddy, Donald Trump, did this to the FBAs, all still staying with him. You guys got to be getting paid. So that's what they said on the Twitter Spaces. But there's twofold here. Tariq Nasheed is right that in the state of New York, which is a blue state that's run by Democrats, it was a Democratic contingency that prosecuted these young men. But check this out. As I said before, Donald Trump was also rocking with the Democratic Party at that time. Donald Trump was in the mix with them. Let me show you some pictures. I'm going to prove this out because a lot of people talk a lot of stuff on YouTube, but they don't never back up anything with real receipts. Back it up. So remember, Donald Trump was rocking with the Clintons at one point in time. Check this out. Check him out right here. Take a look at that. Here he is kicking it with Hillary, who he went against. Remember, he went against her to become the president, right? There's Bill Clinton. And there's photographs, and I should have had that photograph. There's photograph with Bill Clinton with his wife, Hillary Clinton, at a party, and she's got blackface on. I meant to put that picture up. She's got a blackface thing going, right? But that's Donald Trump kicking it with them, right? I don't know if that's Ivanka or whoever, but that's him kicking it with them, right? Here he is again with Bill Clinton. So don't tell me that he wasn't part of the Democratic machine at one point in time. Here he is with Bill Clinton right here. Here goes some more receipts right here. This is in an article that you can read in NPR Politics. Most of Donald Trump's political money went to Democrats until 5 years ago. This article came out in 2015 when he became president. Prior to becoming president, he was rocking with the Democrats. I've already showed you him in the picture. Check this out. Back in the day, Trump donated to Kamala Harris, right? Trump donated to Kamala Harris' campaign when she was California Attorney General. Years before either came close to the White House, Donald Trump gave $6,000 to her re-election campaign. This is the woman that was doing the truancy laws. This is the woman that was doing some things in California, and Trump wanted her to be re-elected. You don't re-elect somebody and give them money unless you agree with their policies. That means that Trump agrees with her policies because he was rocking with the Democratic thing, okay? Donald Trump gave her $6,000 to her to re-elect her. His daughter, Ivanka, gave $2,000, okay? This is just truth, okay?
Tell the truth.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, he really gave her $5,000. This is the receipt right here. Here's the check receipt right here. I got this from a YouTube channel that deals in political talk and breakdown. And this is a copy of the check that he wrote for her. 2011, September 26, Donald Trump, 725 Fifth Avenue, New York, 122, re-elect Attorney General Kamala Harris, 2014. He gave her $5,000. So he was rocking with Kamala Harris. So when these politicians be telling you, oh, I don't like her, they were rocking with these people. And like I said earlier in the program, in politics, there's no permanent enemies, there's no permanent friends, just permanent interests.
Tell the truth.
Now for some more receipts. Kicking it with Jesse Jackson at one time. We know that not Jesse Jackson, kicking it with Al Sharpton. And we know that Al Sharpton is rocking with the Democrats, right? There's Al Sharpton, there's Donald Trump. And we know that Al Sharpton, many people believe that he is an agent, that he did work for the FBI or for the feds, maybe, allegedly. And we know that them kicking it together is a transactional thing. Trump gets something from Al Sharpton. Sharpton gets something from Donald Trump. Here's another picture. Here's the one with Jesse Jackson. There's Al Sharpton when he has a pimp hairstyle. Okay, y'all, pimping it. Once again, Donald Trump, I think, donated to Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Coalition, but he doesn't do anything unless he gets something from it. So there's a reason why he's smoozing with black folks in these pictures with Trump and all, with Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. They're getting something from Trump, such as getting Trump to donate money to them, but Trump gets something from them because it also provides an era or an energy or a atmosphere in which you say, well, Trump can't be a damn racist because, see, he's holding Al Sharpton's hand, who's an agent, and he's kicking it with Jesse Jackson. So that means that he's all good with the black community. No, he's kicking it with the elites, the people that have the money that he can smooth with. Donald Trump doesn't hang out with regular black folks. He don't hang out with black folks in the hood. He's not hanging out with the average person. He only deals with black people who have money that he can get something from. And the last time I checked, remember, you had Steve Harvey who came down on that elevator with Trump and said that he's kicking it with Trump because he wants to get, something for the black community. And hello, Steve Harvey, we're still waiting to find out, what did you get for the black community from Trump? I'm still waiting because you didn't get nothing. Okay, we're gonna tell it like it is. We're gonna tell it like it is. We're gonna expose when we got to expose. He put money in Kamala Harris's election to get her elected. Check this out right here. August 2001, Trump changed his party affiliation to Democrat. Then in September 2009, he changed his party affiliation back to Republican. Trump does whatever he has to do to fit his own agenda. Not our agenda, but his agenda, right? He changed his party affiliation. In December 2011, Trump changed to no party affiliation. He changed to independent. In April of 2012, he again returned to the Republican Party because he knew that the only way he could get his ass in the White House was to go through the Republican Party. And at one point in time, Trump he wasn't pro-life until they said to him, can you be pro-life, Trump? And Trump says, yeah, I can be whatever you need me to be, because Trump has a affinity for lying, telling lies, and lying, and that's all the man ever does is lie. He'll lie for your vote. He'll steal, cheat, cut, whatever he's got to do to get himself back in that White House. Now, we know that Trump wants to get back in that White House because he wants to be able to get rid of all these trials that he has against him, and he doesn't care. He'll do any damn thing to get himself back in that White House. Let's go over here and show you some more receipts that I have on this man. But let's go back to this receipt right here. Check this out.
Listen, as my friend Corey Wise just said, 45 wanted us unalive. He wanted us dead. Today, we are exonerated because the actual perpetrator confessed and DNA proved it. That guy says he still stands by the original guilty verdict. He dismisses the scientific evidence rather than admit he was wrong. He has never changed, and he never will. That man thinks that hate is the animating force in America.
Watch this, everybody. When he said that, check this out.
Of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
It is not. We have the constitutional right to vote. In fact, it is a human right. So let us use it.
Now, Tariq is right when he says that it was all Democrats on board with this. Trump was going back and forth between being a Democrat, a Republican. He does whatever he has to do politically, right? And he put out that $85,000 ad telling everyone they should be executed. He added to the atmosphere what happened to them. But this is the man that prosecuted him right here. Here he is. This is the judge. And this is Judge Thomas B. Galligan. He was born 1925. He died in July 2015. He was a Democratic judge of New York City criminal court who was known for almost always siding with the state during trials and for having several people sent to Rikers Island. Here's some more information about this Thomas B. Galligan. Right thereafter, after being designated as an acting justice of the state Supreme Court in New York County for 20 years, and he developed a reputation as a solid pro-state and a law and order judge who almost always secured convictions against criminals. Rikers Island was nicknamed Gallagher Island in 1989. The state broke standards and protocol by deliberating and deciding the Central Park jogging case. Do you hear what I just said there? The state of New York broke their standard protocol by deliberating and assigning the Central Park jogging case to this man, meaning he wasn't even supposed to have this case. But Galligan, and he found the 5 juveniles defendants guilty and sentenced them each to 5 to 10 years in a detention facility, while Corey Wise, who we just heard, was tried as an adult. He was 16 years old, and Galligan died in 2015 at the age of 90. And he's the one who was the judge presiding over their case, a Democrat. Okay, now the prosecutor, who was also a Democrat, let's put her up here. I believe in being an honest broker here, was Linda Feinstein. Linda Fairstein. Let me read her name right. Linda Fairstein, born May 5th, 1947, is an American author, attorney, and former New York City prosecutor focused on crimes of violence against women and children. Check this out. When they came out with that movie in Netflix called When They Look at Us, she took a lawsuit because she didn't like the way she was portrayed in the movie. Check this out. Former Manhattan prosecutor Linda Fairstein reached a settlement with Netflix in the defamation case. She felt that they did defamation on her, right? The former Manhattan prosecutor Linda Fairstein and Netflix announced Tuesday that they have reached a settlement in the defamation case she filed against the streaming platform for her portrayal in the 2019 miniseries When They See Us. Can you believe that, y'all? So when people say that, hey, the Central Park Five, you should also be mad. And how do we know that they're not mad at these people? Even though they've been talking about Trump, they know what happened to them. They know who was involved better than we do. Okay? But I named the judge. He was a Democrat. She was a Democrat. She was the prosecutor and the judge. They both railroad those young men. These young men right here, the Central Park Five, were railroaded by the community in New York, a Democratic community, all right, in New York. And we're not going to let Donald Trump off the hook because he was a part of the mess as well. And the mayor of New York, which was Ed Koch, if I'm saying his name correct, let's put him in here. He was involved in it, and he was a Democratic mayor of New York, so he's Democrat. So it's the truth, okay?
Tell the truth.
And when I do further research, I don't mind correcting anything that I said to put the truth out, okay? Let's look at some more of this. Check this out.
I'm saying if they're found guilty, if the woman died, which she hopefully will not be dying, but if the woman died, I think they should be executed.
That's his page ad. You saw the ad that Trump put out. He said they should be killed. Now check this out. All these years later, Trump has never given them an apology when the evidence and the DNA testing and all the other evidence proves that they didn't do it. Check this out. When a reporter asked Donald Trump about him apologizing to them and how he felt, check out what he said. He's a cold-hearted son of a bitch.
Will you apologize to the Central Park Five? They've been exonerated. There have been videos and movies shown about the case, and you came out with a full-page ad saying that they should die, that they should have the death penalty.
Why do you bring that question up now? It's an interesting time to bring it up. You have people on both sides of that. They admitted their guilt. If you look at Linda Fairstein and if you look at some of the prosecutors, they think that the city should never have settled that case. So we'll leave it at that.
There we go. There we go. Another thing, too, for those of you who say, oh, Trump's not going to give us reparations. I brought this up before. Trump says that slavery reparations debate is an interesting but does not see it happening. William Cummings of USA Today published this in 2019, June 25th. Okay, check this out. Once again, Washington President Donald Trump said in an interview on Monday that he thinks that the concept of a federal government giving reparations to the descendants of slaves is an unusual and interesting, but he does not see it happening. I think it's a very unusual thing. Trump told The Hill when asked about the idea of trying to rectify the enduring effects of slavery, the legacy. It's been a very interesting debate. I don't see it happening. He says no. This is Donald Trump in an article. And we know the Republicans have never been for the reparations movement. Mitch McConnell, reparations for slavery are not a good idea. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, we know he's lost his mind since then, rejects reparations for slavery in part because it would be hard to know. Here go the bullshit, and we see what happened in California where we have our own black politicians going against us. Of course, we got to be concerned about Donald Trump and this whole thing about federal immunity for police. Check this out.
We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
Okay.
We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their
job. And I've talked about this before, everybody. Let's put this up here. We know that black people are most likely to be killed by police, 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white people. Okay? Black people are 30% more of the victims of being harmed by police unarmed going all the way back to 2015 and compared to 19% of white victims. White people unarmed get taken out of here by cops at 19%, but we're 30% higher. This has not changed, and I got this from Mapping Police Violence, okay, comprehensive tracking project for United States death caused by encounters with police. You can look that up. Remember, I've showed this before. This was by PBS News. Lifetime risk of being killed by police. Black men and boys are 96% death per 100,000, and white men and boys are 39 deaths per 100,000. So giving police immunity would be dangerous to our health, dangerous to our life. Police already have a certain level of immunity already, everybody. But if you give them federal level, now you make them completely even more invincible in this area than they already appear to be. So this is crazy. Let's go back to Kamala Harris as it relates to reparations when she said, nah, I'm not going to do something just for black people. Nah.
Do you support reparations for black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, black people have not. And so we have...
If you notice, Kamala Harris never actually tells you what she's prepared to do for black people. It all leads, as we already know, to her talking about immigrants and helping everybody and all this other stuff.
Got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans.
You see what I'm saying? The sister asked the right question from the griot. She said, is there not a specific policy for black people? Kamala Harris doesn't give you one. This is at the time when she was running for president against Biden. She doesn't give a specific policy, just like she hasn't given a specific policy for us now. As we keep saying, let's vote for her because she's a black woman. No, I want to know what the damn policies are. I want to know what you're going to do for my community. Other than that, this is just Obama 2.0 all over again.
That you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies. We're almost to conclusion,
folks.
When you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues,
narratives and dialogue, what's
that
going
have
on,
resulted in the greatest disparities.
And Jackie, thank you for coming over.
And we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country.
Boom. You just heard her answer. She said it right there. I'm not going to do something just for black people, when the point is we're looking for policies that are for us. Now, if Kamala Harris was talking to the Jewish community on an interview like this, or any other community, she would have never said what she just said. She would have said directly what she was going to do. Just like she said that they were going to help the Dream Act, the people that were the dreamers, the people that were here illegally. They had no bones telling you what they were going to do for those folks. And that's a problem. And these are some of the reasons why you have some black men and some black people that are sort of iffy about her. And we got to tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
And stop being ashamed to tell the truth, because this is the reason why some people have issues, okay? And Trump is a problem as well. I'm not for Trump. But we got to get in this issue right here. This is the issue that's breaking news all over social media right now. This whole issue about McDonald's. And did she really work at McDonald's? I think they did some research and found that she worked at McDonald's maybe around during the summer for maybe a couple of weeks or maybe a month or two, maybe, I don't know. But this whole thing that she's been campaigning on, this whole move that I'm a McDonald's girl, I work the register and I work the fries. And there's research out there where people are questioning, is this true? Does she really? Because the way they make it sound is almost like they're having her say that she worked at McDonald's to sort of make it seem like she can relate to the working class man and woman in this country. See, to make her relatable, to make her seem like, hey, she's just like you, right? She worked at McDonald's. This whole notion that she worked herself through school on a McDonald's job, that to me is kind of weird, because McDonald's workers have just now gotten $20 an hour in California. So people are making $20 an hour at McDonald's now. Back when she worked at McDonald's as a server, she wasn't making, there was no damn $20 an hour. I think maybe $3 an hour, $4. They were making $6 an hour, maybe $7. It was minimum wage. It was a minimum wage job. But let's go into this whole thing about McDonald's. Is this true? Is this false? Is this just a cap? And here we go. Here we go with this first one right here. We're almost close to the conclusion, everybody, so just hang in there with me. I know it's been a long night so far. Here we go.
I worked at McDonald's. I was a student when I was working at McDonald's. There was not a family relying on me to pay the rent, put food on the table, and keep the bills paid by the end of the month. But the reality of McDonald's is that a majority of the folks who are working there today are relying on that income to sustain a household.
Now, she's right. People are relying on an income. But check this out. Kamala Harris came from a middle-class family. Father was a professor. Mother was a professor. So she didn't come from a struggle or some type of poor background. If anything, she was working at McDonald's just to make a little extra cash on the side. I think that's what's been put out there that people are now researching. But they have done things where they've tried to call McDonald's up and say, hey, did Kamala Harris ever work at a McDonald's in Oakland or California? There's been no evidence to prove this. Now, we do know that President Obama did work at an ice cream place, and they're proud of it because they've got pictures of him. They've been able to confirm that yes, Obama worked as an ice cream scooper or somewhere when he was, and they were able to prove that. That was proven out. But the evidence is still out to people are saying, where's the evidence that Kamala Harris, I did fries. Kamala Harris claims that she worked at McDonald's, but she never mentioned it until she ran for president. That's true. I've never heard her say this. She didn't even say this when she ran for president the first time against Biden. She never mentioned that she worked at McDonald's. All of a sudden now, we get this notion that I worked at McDonald's and did fries. Did she really toil beneath the golden arches? I'm kind of curious. What do you all think in the chat room? Is this just cap or is she lying? What's going on here? Because when I show you the receipts, it's going to be interesting. But let me pull up and show you this. I don't like Fox News. I'm not a big fan of it. But there's a guy that was on Fox who did an investigation about this. And let you hear what he had to say. Check this out.
None of which mention her job at McDonald's. The author of one of those biographies told us that he was not aware of the claim. We obtained a job application that Kamala filled out for a law clerk position in 1987 that instructed her to list every job that she had for the past 10 years. McDonald's is not mentioned in that job application or in her resume at that time. We reached out to McDonald's corporate several times asking, hey, can you confirm her employment? No response. We reached out to McDonald's in the Alameda area. None would say if Kamala worked at their location. We reached out to the Harris campaign asking, hey, can you specify which location in Alameda County that she worked at? And they won't answer. So it's possible that she did work at McDonald's for a few weeks in the summer of 1983. But when you put all this,
let me stop that right there. I want to put this up here and let's continue.
This together, it just raises some very serious questions about what has become a foundational narrative that Democrats are relying on to connect Kamala Harris to the working class.
So McDonald's keeps pretty good records of their employees.
Right, they have a full-time archivist on file. We pestered them for weeks and never got a response.
So they know everybody who's ever worked at a McDonald's, and you gave them a month or a couple weeks, and the maybe future president of the United States, something you'd want to brag about if you were McDonald's. They didn't get back to you with anything. That is, and you're right, Andrew, we're not saying she never worked at McDonald's. We're just saying it doesn't smell right, and there's no evidence anywhere. Anything else you'd like to add? You do a really good job with this investigative reporting.
Thank you. Yeah, I think a great comparison is the 2008 campaign. It was a big storyline, Obama's first job as an ice cream scooper at Baskin-Robbins.
So Obama was an ice cream scooper at Baskin-Robbins, and they were able to confirm that he worked there. They've got pictures and everything. So let's get back to this.
The difference with then and now is that there was no mystery at all surrounding Obama's first job. News outlets published the address of his Baskin-Robbins in Honolulu on their websites. Photographers posted photos of the location. Baskin-Robbins proudly touts on his website that Obama used to scoop ice cream for them. And the manager of that location joked to the LA Times in 2009 that she turned into somewhat of a media professional after dealing with so many reporters during the 2008 campaign. The same just can't be said about Harris. There's nothing but mystery surrounding her claim to work at McDonald's.
Very mysterious.
This is what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and, wow, this is crazy. This is crazy, y'all. Let me go ahead and do this. We're getting close to the conclusion now, folks. I know it's been a long evening for all of you. But thank you for those of you that are still hanging with me. I appreciate you. I give you a clap. And let's go ahead and do this. I want to show y'all some receipts. So when they talked about her application, I actually have a copy of this. I just want to show y'all a few things. Let's put this up here right here. Alameda County Office of District Attorney, summer law clerk. So this is a copy of her her stuff here. Here's her jobs. Back in 687, she worked for Alexander Mill McGee, maybe some type of law firm. Yeah, she was a law clerk. On 886, she worked at Charles Schwab as an operator. Then she has, back in 1986, she worked at the Federal Trade Commission as a student assistant. There's no mention of Kamala Harris's work at McDonald's. Now, there's a chance that she probably didn't want to put McDonald's on her application. She wanted to put the more prominent jobs. People do that on applications, and people do that on resumes, where you want to put the more oppressive jobs on your application, depending on what type of job you're going for. So I understand that. But here is another copy. This is a copy of her resume. She went to Hastings College Law. Okay. Same thing. Alexander Miller McGee, where she worked as a law clerk. Charles Schwab, as I told you, she worked as an operator. And then she worked at the Federal Trade Commission. Then she has the Honorable Allen. This is probably a lawyer or someone that she clerked for or something like that. So you want to put the best stuff on your resume. So even though, I mean, people are saying, oh, she did. Even though people may be saying, and what's going on, Auntie, thank you for the super chat, brother. I mean, let me see if I can pull this up on my screen. Thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate that. You coming by and giving me a super chat. Thank you. Put in there, Information Man fam. Thanks for covering. Oh, let me put this up. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Now, here we go. Brother Auntie, the boiler room, says $5 super chat. Thank you for that $5 super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
He says, Auntie says, the boiler room, he says, Information Man show, peace, fam. Thanks for covering this for a non-emotional perspective. Yeah, I'm not being overly emotional. I'm just putting the facts out there like it is. I also had to show some things about Donald Trump, too, because both these candidates have flaws, as many political candidates have flaws. But the main question, Auntie, that I would put to you as in the title of this video is, where is the policies in the black agenda, not only from Kamala Harris, but from Trump? Where's the agenda? They're asking us to vote for her. People are asking us to vote for Trump, but I don't really see any agenda being put forth for our votes. And we don't just, and our votes are valuable in the way I see it. But thank you again, brother, for the
thank you for the super
chat. Appreciate that. Yeah, brother, I appreciate that. Kamala Harris, I mean, we gotta be honest. We gotta be honest. This is a picture of her right there. We gotta be honest about some things. But as far as the resume situation, she probably worked at McDonald's like most kids, and she probably quit. She probably just worked there, just get a little pocket change on the side. And she probably had other jobs that she thought were more important to push than McDonald's. And she put them on a resume. People do it all the time. So I don't think the resume situation is that big of a deal because, hell, you're going to put the best stuff that you've done when you're trying to get certain type of jobs. If you don't need to put McDonald's on there, then why would you if you've done other stuff that's even better? She probably only worked at McDonald's for a couple of months during the summer just to earn some money. But I think the reason why people are coming down on her is because they feel like she's making it sound like that's where she made her living for the majority of her time as a young person before she went into law. People think that she's embellishing her McDonald's story. So that's what's going on with that, everybody. Kamala Harris. Let's move on from that. We get ready to get to conclusion. Another thing I want to air out again. You need to see the video where I talk about who really was responsible for the HBCU, historical black colleges, getting money. Donald Trump tries to take credit for something that he didn't really create. He didn't come up with the budget. When he says he gave more money to black colleges, it was not him. It was Alma Adams, the sister right here. Give her a clap. I talked about that in the other video. Donald Trump can't even tell you. If you were to ask Donald Trump right now, what was the name of the bill? That man couldn't tell you the name of the bill. I'll tell you the name of the bill right now. The name of the bill that Alma Adams created is called Bill H.R. 5363. H.R. 5363 is called the Futures Act. She's the one who put it together because Donald Trump, let me let you in on a little bit of a secret. And I'm going to say this very loud so everybody gets this and hears it very well. Donald Trump simply grifted off of the law that Alma Adams created, and he tried to take credit for it. She's the one that put in the work to give them extra money. She's the one that put in the work to make it more permanent. Donald Trump simply grifted off of it, used those black college presidents as photo op, and many of those presidents to this day said that Donald Trump used them. They have come out and said these things. It was their bill, H.R. 5363, the Future Act. She's responsible, and I have a video on this channel that gives all the damn details and breakdown. I go in more detail. So stop saying that Donald Trump has somehow saved black colleges. When he went to the the Black Broadcasters Convention. He got on there talking about he's done more for black. He's the only one that gave black colleges money when black colleges have been getting money from the government since 1966. The program has been in place before Donald Trump was even thought of in politics. So stop it with that. And won't y'all give the credit to a black woman and look up this sister right here, Alma Adams, ALMA ADAMS Adams, and look up Bill HR 5363. I did a whole damn video on it. So let's stop that bullshit right now. Trump had nothing. Trump might have signed this and that. That's what presidents do. He didn't do nothing that no other president did. But he didn't put in the work. He didn't grind. Matter of fact, another little secret that I gotta tell y'all. Did y'all know that Trump was thinking about zeroing out the program? What does that mean? He was actually thinking about cutting the money and not giving HBCUs nothing. He was trying to get rid of the program, and it was Alma Adams, this black woman right here, who got in the way and said, hell to the hell no. Hell no, you ain't gonna do that. And that's the truth, everybody. And y'all should respect this black woman right here, because Donald Trump and his cronies wanted to cut the program and move the money somewhere else. That's the little dirty secret that people don't seem to know a lot about, don't want to deal with, and what have you.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
And we're going to keep telling this truth, whether you like it or not on this channel. And now Auntie has sent me another super chat, which I appreciate that, brother. And my man right here, Dialogues, sent me a message saying, Information Man Show, I'm definitely not doing any votes less of the two evils. Yeah, I am voting local. Yeah, vote local. Vote for people that you know going to do something for you. But Dialogue, my man, Narratives and Dialogue, I don't know, you may not have been here earlier, but I also talked about what happened in California with the reparations bill, and it was the California Black Caucus that sold us out. Thank you again, Auntie, for the super chat. He says they're just for Asians and Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, LGBTQ. Yeah, they've been pushing that, but they don't push anything for us. We got M, Kim, Bling, and Barb. Make sure y'all check out her show, especially for the ladies who like jewelry and all those nice things. She says, yes, I did know that. Information Man Show. Much respect to Alma Adams. Thank you again. We're getting ready to close. We're going to get ready to get out of here pretty soon, everybody. I've been keeping you all for quite some time. Thank you. Narratives and Dialogue. It was the Black Caucus. Let me show you again. It was the Black Caucus. Brother Branford, who's a member of this caucus, he was the only one that was holding up the flag of reparations for us. But these Negroes right here sold us out in California. That is your California Black Congressional Caucus who sold us out. They killed their own bills, didn't put it up there and get it done. Let me give y'all another reminder with my man Chris from CJAC, who I know. And let me let y'all see what he said right here, how they killed these bills. And I played this earlier, but here go a little tad bit for people who can't.
The speaker need to bring the bills up now. These are their bills. They have their names on the bills. They killing their own bills because they scared of the government. Now, listen, they gonna see this and they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills, then they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills because they scared of the government. Okay? We don't care.
We need to
bring the goddamn bills up now.
The governor needs to understand that the world is watching California, and this is going to have a direct impact on your friend Kamala Harris, who's running for president. This is going to have a direct impact.
Right.
So pull up the bills now, vote on them, and sign them.
We have
We've
the
been
votes.
waiting for over 400 years.
So you can see right there, what's happening is that California, they had 3 bills. I'm going to name them for you. SB 1315, 1403, and Bill 1050. They never brought those reparation bills to the floor. I think it was on Saturday night. They were there till 2 a.m. in the morning. I watched it. I watched everybody get their bills passed, but the reparations bills never got passed because the Black Caucus never brought the bills to the floor to take a vote on, to everybody take a vote on it so that it could pass and that it could be sent to Gavin Newsom's office so that he can sign it some kind of way. Like Brother Chris said, they killed their own bills. They were afraid to let it go to the governor's office. They were afraid to do, for whatever reason, there's some kind of dirty deal that's being cut behind the scene here. And you heard that sister say there's going to be implications as it relates to Kamala Harris running for president, because black folks we're going to make them pay for this. The Black Caucus of California is no damn better than the National Black Caucus in Washington, D.C. They turned their backs on black folks. They failed us, didn't do anything for us, but they'll do everything for every other damn group. And I sat up there that night and I watched them pass all these other bills, just rush the damn bills through. Didn't even have that much discussion about all these other bills that they're passing, just rushed them through. And they never brought the 3 reparation bills up front. All we got from Gavin Newsom so far is that he wants to put in $6 million at the university, the state level. He wants University of Hayward or one of these universities, one of these state universities in California, to do further research and study on the idea of reparations and what have you. And I'm saying to myself, wasn't that what the task force was for? So that they could figure all this shit out, and they did for the last 2 years, and for us to get slapped in the face by our own people, black state senators who slapped us in the face, did us wrong, didn't have the courage of their convictions to bring those damn bills to be voted on. They let those bills die on the floor and did us wrong. And we're gonna make these individuals. We deserve our reparations. We deserve that damn money, cut that damn check, whatever you want to call it. But these Negroes right here, these Negro pins right here, and I hate to say this, I found out on Saturday night that these Black Caucus members failed black people of America. I'm going to say this again. On this picture, I want you to look to the far left. Look down to the far left. At the bottom, you'll see a black woman with a blue suit on. I watched her at her desk as she had a LGBTQ flag and all that other stuff that she supports, but could not put our bills up to be voted on. They're cowards. Black people have no power. We have no political leadership in California. And black people as a group, as sad as I hate to say this, it appears that we don't even really have much political power because black people are being gentrified out of California. These other groups are coming in, they're replacing us, and they just use us for our votes. They use us as tools and fools, and we get nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my presentation for tonight. I thank you for bearing with me tonight, bearing with the program, and let me see if I got anything else. Oh, I do got a few other things I want to bring up to your attention. I'm sorry. Let's talk about Kamala Harris's father. You haven't seen a lot of him because he doesn't want to be in the limelight as far as they tell us. This whole thing about Indians in the United States Census. Did you guys know this? The reason why Kamala Harris's mother put herself down as white in the census is this reason. The racial classification for Indians changed over 20 centuries. When updating its policies in 1995, the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, noted that Asian Indians had counted as Hindus in census from the 1920s to 1940, but as white. So in the 1920s and 40s, the Hindus could write in their census as they were written down as white. In 1950, in 1970, okay, in 1978, the OMB Statistically Policy Handbook included Indians in the Asian or Pacific Islander racial category. So it was not until recent times, y'all, that they moved East Indians to the Asian Pacific Islander category. It was not until the 1980s that Asian Indians was included as a category. The United States Census, after mobilization from Indian to American advocate groups. So this is one of the reasons why Kamala Harris's mother, who admitted it herself, she would identify in paperwork as white. I find that very interesting. Let's talk about her father. Remember, her father was very upset with her. In 2019, Kamala Harris's father disapproved of a joke that Kamala Harris said about her Jamaican lineage. In a radio interview, she said she smoked marijuana in her younger days. Half of her family from Jamaica are, you kidding me? Kamala Harris said. Donald J. Harris issued a statement lambasting his own daughter, comments, and wrote, "My dear departed grandmother, whose legacy I describe in a recent essay on this website, as well as my deceased parents, must be turning in their graves right now to see their family name so being disrespected." So he was very upset with Kamala Harris coming out on that podcast talking about she smoked weed and her family smokes weed. He didn't like that. That was the father. So there's a reason why you don't see the father hanging around. Another little dirty secret that people are not aware of is Kamala Harris is a descendant of an Irish slave owner in Jamaica. Because remember, the father is Jamaican and Irish. So that means that his great-grandfather, or his descendant, Hamilton Brown, was a slave owner who was compensated by the British government to free slaves after the ban. Okay? And Kamala Harris put it more bluntly in a 2003 interview that her and her father are not very close. She says she talked about the man publicly. "My father is a good guy," she told San Francisco Weekly, "but we are not close. Neither Donald Harris, now a retired professor, nor a White House responded to the request for a comment." Okay, so her family has a history in the slavery system. The grandfather, they have one of her descendants. Okay, and then let's talk about Trump and his taste for underage girls. Did y'all know about that? Here's Donald Trump with Epstein. You know what kind of person Epstein is, right, everybody? Nothing to see here. Just another never-before-seen photo of Trump with his young children and Jeffrey Epstein. Nasty. Check this out. I want y'all to look this up. Teen models and powerful men in private dinners with Trump hosted look of the year. Trump used to have these pageants for underage girls, and he would have grown-ass men there who were looking at those girls. Remember, he associated himself with Jeffrey Epstein. They were good friends, okay? I'm putting all the dirt out on these people tonight. Teen models, powerful men. He would invite powerful men to come to these. It would just be these powerful grown-ass men with these teens there. That's some sick stuff, okay, that Trump was on. So these people have issues, y'all, that they're telling us that we should vote for, that we should trust, that we should believe in. Remember, I showed you the photos of Trump kicking it with Bill Clinton, Al Sharpton, and all the other folks like that. These people are all in the same bag with each other, and they want us to vote for Kamala Harris, okay, or vote for Donald Trump. But I'm showing you that these people got dirty secrets in their past. Now, another thing that y'all may not know about that I'm busting down on the YouTube streets tonight is that did you know that Trump has purchased the plane of Jeffrey Epstein, the plane that he used when he was picking up underage girls and doing the sick stuff that he was doing on his island? Guess what? Trump has that plane. All he did was paint the plane, put his name on the plane, and Trump tried to change. Trump, from what I understand, he attempted to change the serial number on the plane from the serial number that was tagged to Jeffrey Epstein, but he wasn't able to get away with it, even though he did it, because the Midas Touch, where I got these pieces from, they did the investigation and found this stuff. So that's Jeffrey Epstein's plane. Trump has the plane now. There it is right there. Look at that picture. Trump put his name on that plane. You see it right there? So Trump is flying around in a plane that was once owned by a pedophile, by a sick man. Trump has purchased his plane and flying around in that plane in his campaigning, while knowing damn well that this man, Epstein, was using that plane to pick up females to bring them to that island, that Trump used to frequent that island, as well as, see, these people are all in the same bag together. Check this out. Bill Clinton used to be at that same island with Jeffrey Epstein and all of them messing around. You know they were messing around allegedly. Huh? Bill Clinton, there's a connection. Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein going to his island on the plane that he used to pick up the girls, and manipulate them, These people are all the same. That's my theme for tonight. All these politicians, they're all the same. They make you and I think that they're against each other, but they're all part of the same demon clan, okay? Donald Trump messing around, kicking it with Jeffrey Epstein, buying his plane, flying that plane around while campaigning a plane that was used in the abuse of females. Donald Trump, back in the day, pushing a teen pageant where he would have nothing but powerful grown men who had an appetite for younger girls, allegedly. I want y'all to look this article up. Just put it in your Google. Teen model powerful men and private dinners with Trump. Why were the dinners private? With Trump. Hosted Look of the Year. Look of the Year. I want y'all to look this up in your Google. Do the research for yourself. In this never-been-seen photo right here that I got from the Midas Touch of him having his kids around this sick Jeffrey Epstein. This is the kind of crap that we got going on in America today, y'all. It's crazy. Another thing I want to show y'all before I get out of here, something else I want to show y'all before I get out of here, and I can't get out of here before I show this. This is embarrassing what I'm about to show y'all right here, and I do not like it. Check this out.
A friend who had a Christmas party, Christmas Eve every year, and she asked me to make the greens for a party every year. And I am not lying to you that I would make so many greens that I'd need to wash them in the bathtub. I'm telling you the truth.
So how do you make your greens? Do you put turkey in them? Do you
Bacon.
Nice. My grandma
I
used
do
to
bacon.
Put bacon. She just puts
Garlic.
vinegar.
I put white vinegar.
Yes.
I do. So I start.
Did any of y'all see the black man set up there, the brother, while they're talking about the greens? I'm gonna tell you why this is stupid. While they're talking about the greens, you got the Negro there, the black man sitting up there talking about, why? Once again, remember when Hillary Clinton came on the whatever podcast with the hot sauce? My question again, why are we talking to Kamala Harris about collard greens and food when we should be talking to her about policies and what she's going to do for black people? Why are we talking? We don't need to hear her recipe for greens. Black folks have been cooking greens for time immemorial. We know how to make greens. That's not a problem that we have. We know how to make collard greens, mustard greens, and mix them together, use turkey meat for seasoning or bacon or whatever. We don't need to hear Kamala Harris give this exaggeration about how she had to make so many greens that she put them in a damn bathtub to soak them. That's some cap right there. And then this Negro sitting up here talking about, in front of all these people, a political situation where you should be asking her about what she's going to do for her black constituent. Instead, these black people are sitting up here wasting their time talking about some damn greens with this woman. This is embarrassing, to say the least. Okay? Embarrassing.
A friend who had a Christmas party, Christmas Eve every year, and she asked me to make the greens for a party every year. And I am not lying to you.
She asked me to make the... Is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing?
I would make so many greens that I'd need to wash them in the bathtub. I'm telling you the truth.
So how do you make your greens?
So how you around all these white folks? This is the stereotype. This is why people can't take us serious. They sitting up here talking to her about some damn greens instead of talking to her about what is your policy, Miss Vice President Kamala Harris. What is your plan to help black people with housing, jobs? What is your plan for reparations? What is your plan to make things for black Americans who seem to be forgotten about because you've been focusing on migrants and LGBTQ rights and all this other bullshit.
I do bacon.
You see, and listen to this dude. Look at the black dude as she's talking to him out. I mean, this is embarrassing. This is the time to be serious. This is the time to be academic. This is the time to ask real questions of this woman. This is the time to be a black professional. Instead, we got this Negro up here talking about, because she talking about some damn greens and biscuits, butter biscuits. They sitting up here cooning, asking her some real questions. They sitting up here cooning about her recipe. That guess what? Black Americans already know how to make greens. We didn't need Kamala Harris's recipe or the story about greens. I'm sick of it.
Garlic. I put white vinegar. I do. So I start with, I slice up my garlic. But no, first I chop up the bacon and get all that fat going.
Are they really? Unfreaking-believable, man. I don't find this entertaining. This is embarrassing that these two black people, this black woman in particular, this is all they could find time to talk to her about when there's so many things that black people need, so many things that we've been forgotten for. We got Negro Black Caucus members failing us in California, not even putting up our reparations bill to be voted on. And then when they get a chance to talk to Kamala Harris, they want to talk about some damn mustard and collard greens. I mean, do fries go with that shake?
Then I put garlic, some chili peppers. And then a lot of water and a little chicken stock.
We don't need her recipe. We already know how to make. And the sister's sitting up there talking about, yeah, this is embarrassing.
And I let it go for a while before I put the greens in.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Right, so you get that going and all that flavor. And then I put the greens in for a couple hours. Then I do vinegar, and then I cheat and do a little.
Yeah, you're right, Sunshine. Here we go campaigning at the Waffle House.
Tabasco.
No, that's okay.
Here we go with the Tabasco. Didn't Hillary Clinton hit us with the hot sauce some years ago? Same playbook here.
Yeah, but Tabasco of all, like I like Louisiana hot sauce, but Tabasco.
Here we go with the hot sauce. Y'all see a pattern here? Hillary Clinton was talking that hot sauce, even claimed she had hot sauce in her bag. And here we got Kamala Harris talking the hot sauce stuff. Like I said, we don't need to hear her recipes. We need to hear her black agenda for black people. What do we get for the vote?
Yeah. And that's how I do my green.
I see why you get invited every year.
Unbelievable. Crazy. Shame. 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 Shame.
Tell the truth.
Shame. 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 Shame on us. More important things to be talking to her about, to be questioning her about, than a damn greens recipe. Everybody, it's been great tonight. I'm about to get out of here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Those that hung out with me this long, make sure you share this video on all your social media. Share it in your Twitter, your X, your Facebook. Really helps the channel. I appreciate everybody in the chat room, from everybody that's here, from Sunshine to Music Man 1982. It's good to see you back over here, brother. I think they plant her in there because she had nothing about her policies, right? Jackie Gaines comes over. Thank you, Jackie, for being here. MK and Bling and Bar, thank you for being here. Narratives and Dialogue, Alan Christian, thank you for being here. Alex Dexter, Derek, thank you for being here. Jay the Informant, Alex, thank you for being here again. My man Jonathan Kidd for rocking with me too as well. Hey, what's going on, Antonio? Thank you for being here. Unfortunately, that's the one thing both Democrats and Republicans can agree on. They don't want another party at the table. Right. Oh, I'm glad you said that. You know why I'm glad you said that? Because as I get out of here, let me remind people, I said this earlier in the show before you got here, I talked about my man, Cornel West. Cornel West, if you don't know this, was on CNN not too long ago with Laura Coates. He said that the Democratic Party has purposely done everything they can to purge him from the voters, from the voters' roll, where people won't even be able to vote for him because he won't even be on the rolls. This is a man that they said that he's insignificant. He's not going to get the votes. So if he's so insignificant as a third-party candidate, why would the Democrats be trying to purge him from the voters' rolls across the country? He came out and said that on CNN, that they've been playing dirty tricks. He also came out and said that why is it that we don't demand a black agenda from Kamala Harris and the Democrats in general? So I'm glad you said that. Woo, y'all, I'm about to get on out of here. Thank you for your support, all that you do. Y'all take care. Peace. Have a good night. I'll be back on soon. Make sure that you subscribe to Info Media Reacts channel. Subscribe to that channel because we got it turned up over there, y'all. Peace.
Is my place. No, my place is your place. Let's face it. Baby, you know all the places.
Let's hit it again. Thank you, everybody. Peace.
Time's been moving slowly, so we already in too deep. Can't get no sleep on each other, heavy teasing all day. And when the sun sets, you asking me to come through, kick it with you. Night turn to morning dew. Then you the key to the lock, we in our own zone. Make yourself at home, get to know mine on the inside. Can meet at yours next time. And you feel it fresh and lose control. You don't wanna go slow, for sure. We both already know your place is my place now. Your place, let's face It's the end of the weekend, but I still wanna turn up. Yeah, I still wanna turn up. All I want is to go again, but you ain't picking your phone up. Why you messing my head up? Any night, any day, let me take you away. All I need is just saying yeah, 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 yeah. Better nights, better days, when you're here with me, babe. Cause you're all that I crave, so I wonder, where are you? Don't hide away from me when I need you.
Tell the truth.